Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Marvel. I have countless villain followers. Chapter 61. Back in the Marvel world, Li Yan and his team appeared on the living planet Yigo. Hey, it's been detected that you have returned to the Marvel universe. Now let's complete the mission. Hey, mission 1 is to eliminate a certain number of Tianlong people, and the rewards will be distributed according to the number of people eliminated. Completed 350 people. Hey, mission 2, destroy 10 pirate groups. Completed. Hey, mission 3, kill 4 people with general level combat power. Completed. Hey, mission 4, kill 5 people with devil fruit abilities. Completed. Tell me, mission 5 is to establish a force and achieve a personal bounty of 200 billion. Undone. Ding, the monitoring task completion rate is 80%, the overall evaluation is A, the evaluation is slightly lower, and the reward will be reduced accordingly. Ding, start the reward settlement. Ding, the reward settlement is successful, you get the following rewards. Reward 1. Devil fruit of your choice limited to 3. Reward 2. 3 Pirate World Character Peak Skill Cards characters can be specified. That's it. Li Yan was a little unbelievable. Although the bounty mission has not been completed, I don't ask you to give me devil fruit trees. You can just give me devil fruits. Li Yan complained in his heart, but his body was honest and started to check the rewards. Pirate World Character Peak Skill Card. How to use. First select the character, which can be anyone in the pirate world. It cannot be modified after confirmation. Each card can be used 3 times. For example, if you choose Whitebeard, then no matter who uses this card, he will obtain all the abilities of Whitebeard at his peak, but this ability cannot continue to become stronger. It is at its peak when it debuts, and the ability is permanent and will not conflict with other abilities. Li Yan touched his chin. The strong men in the One Piece world are of no use to me. It seems that they can only be rewarded to subordinates. These 3 cards can create 9 strong men, which is not bad. Rick, welcome back to the Holy Lord. Li Yan waved his hand and asked Rick to come to him. He casually took out a devil fruit and handed it to him. This was one of the few he had collected in the pirate world. Li Yan introduced. This is a natural Xiao Xiao fruit. It is a specialty of my last trip around the world. Please study it for me and see if it can be produced artificially. Rick took the fruit and walked aside and began to work hard. Egg's incarnation, ability god, and Boros also came to Rick's laboratory. Holy Lord, you are back. Li Yan, well, everything is fine lately. Ability god, reporting to the Holy Lord, everything is fine. We stay here very leisurely, if we don't treat it very well. Li Yan now controls a huge amount of power, almost at the top of the universe. His followers can be divided into 2 types, Boros, ability god, Apocalypse, Bados, Gila, Egg, Rick, star-casting dragon King Thor, and Terra. These are summoned by Li Yan's system or conquered by other worlds, of Black-Armed Zephyr, Red-Haired Shanks, Buddha of Warring States, Iron Fist Garp, Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji, Dragon, Yishao, Hawkeye Mahawk, Aniro, and Barrett are all from in the world of pirates. Their combat prowess is also good, but it is still far behind compared with the power god Boros. However, this group of followers has a large number of people, and in Li Yan's eyes, they are just so they can look past it. In addition, this trip to the pirate world also gained 270 million naval soldiers and a reserve of tens of millions of people. In the future, we will continue to provide followers for Li Yan. Haha, I am really far-sighted. Now regardless of the top combat power, with the navy brought by One Piece world, they can allow Li Yan to overtake Asgard in the Marvel world. What? You said that the Asgardians have strong physical fitness, but don't forget that in addition to generals, the navy also has a large team of officers such as lieutenant generals and major generals. These people, who cannot completely defeat the 3 warriors of Immortal Palace, must know that the immortals, the warriors of Gongsan, are friends with Thor, and Thor is the crown prince of Asgard. If you take a closer look, since these 3 guys can be called warriors, they should be considered relatively strong in Asgard. Yes, but their records are indeed not worthy of their titles. Li Yan sent Warring States and others back to the Shadow Kingdom, where the people and navy still needed them to lead the overall situation. In Rick's laboratory, after chatting with Egg, ability god, and Boros, Li Yan opened the portal to the earth and returned to his home in New York. As soon as Wanda entered the door, she lay down on the sofa and muttered, "It's more comfortable at home. By the way, where is Pietro? Isn't he at home?" Li Yan shook his head. "I don't know, I should go to S.H.I.E.L.D. again." Hela said, "I haven't been back to Asgard for a long time, and I want to go back and have a look." After saying that, she stared at Li Yan intently. The meaning was self-evident, that is, she needed Li Yan to accompany her. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury's black face was full of worry, looking like a braised egg with a story written all over it. 3 days ago, in a secret base of S.H.I.E.L.D., the cosmic cube they had been studying suddenly activated, opening a portal to an unknown location, and a group of alien soldiers rushed out of it, killing several researchers, and these soldiers fled the scene with the cosmic cube. After 3 days of investigation, there was still no trace of this group of alien soldiers. Coulson, Director, these guys have very advanced weapons. They may have changed their appearance and are hiding in a corner. Nick Fury nodded. This inference was the most reasonable, but how to find their hiding place, find out what their purpose is in robbing the cosmic cube, how can we get the cosmic cube back from their hands, these 3 points are the most important. In a container at the dock in New York, Urso is sitting in the container, holding a small safe in his hand. This box can not only cover up people's eyes and ears, but also block any signal detection equipment to prevent the cosmic cube from being found. Urso is one of Thanos' subordinates. Although there is a certain gap in strength between him and the Black Knights, he is extremely loyal to Thanos. He will betray anyone without hesitation for Thanos. He is Thanos, that kind of fanatic believer with poisonous thoughts, but he is also one of Thanos' trusted subordinates. 3 days ago, he led a small team to attack S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secret base and successfully snatched the cosmic cube. Now their purpose at the dock is to wait for the black market businessman Eric Leopard's vibranium, which is gone. Loki, Thanos' subordinate, found another way to activate the cosmic cube, but it required vibranium, so Urso found Eric and promised to make him the king of Wakanda. Because Loki's fate was changed, Li Yan thought that Avengers would not happen again, but the purple potato demon Thanos seemed to have no moral ethics and actually sent a new subordinate. Now Odin and Master Gui are both still alive, Thanos doesn't intend to confront the two of them head-on. This action is just a simple test. Poor Urso, he still doesn't know that he is just a discarded child in other people's hands. At the dock, in the dilapidated container, Eric brought a lot of vibranium. This is almost all his belongings. According to the agreed price, I will give you vibranium, and you will help me ascend to the throne of Wakanda. Urso nodded. No problem, your wish will come true soon when the master comes. Asgard. Thor and Loki stood at the entrance of the Rainbow Bridge, honestly waiting for the return of their eldest sister, the king. Since Hela came out, the relationship between the two brothers seems to have improved a lot. It doesn't seem to have improved a lot, but it has indeed improved a lot. In Loki's eyes, Thor used to be stupid and reckless, but now it seems that the stupid and reckless Thor is so cute, and there is no harm without comparison. Compared with Hela and Thor, Thor is really a good and considerate brother. And Hela is the senior sister who is checked in by the student union, and she is domineering and arrogant. In Thor's eyes, although his brother Loki is naughty, he is the best brother in the universe and his best brother. He is really lucky to have such a brother, but he is also unfortunate. A demon-like sister who often bullies and beats herself up when nothing happens, but fortunately, she lives on Earth, otherwise she would go crazy sooner or later. Coming, whispered Loki. The energy of the Rainbow Bridge flashed, and Li Yan and Hela appeared in front of Heimdall. Heimdall bowed and saluted. Welcome to the distinguished Mr. Li Yan, and welcome the princess back to Asgard. Hela nodded to him and followed Li Yan towards the immortal palace. Thor and Loki hid their depressed expressions and put on smiling faces, welcoming them from afar. Welcome home, Princess Hela, Loki said flatteringly. Hela chuckled. She, truly, loved these two younger brothers. How is it? Do you miss your sister? Thor and Loki nodded wildly. Li Yan, okay, don't embarrass these two fools. Thor and Loki were leading the way, and Li Yan was going to visit Odin. In the immortal palace, Odin was wearing armor and holding a spear in his hand, sitting high on the throne. His gaze passed through the immortal palace and stared at Li Yan, wondering in his heart how he should entrust his two foolish sons to his family. What about him? Thor and Loki slowly walked into the hall with Lian and Hela. In the main hall, in addition to Odin on the throne, there were many immortal palace officials standing on both sides. Obviously this was a formation set up by Odin to welcome Lian. It was not grand, but it was also very formal. Lian did not nothing to be picky about. Thor, father, I have brought the guests. Odin stood up to greet him, and Lian was also very polite. After all, he slept with so-and-so. Odin was considered his own, right, so he should be polite when he should be polite. Hello dear God King Odin, this is your first official visit. I brought you a few gifts to show my respect. Lian conjured 3 gift boxes, which contained 3 devil fruits. Although he was very powerful and had many good things in his hands, there were really not many that could be given as gifts. This was not because of anything else, but mainly I still couldn't bear to part with it, but the gift was too bad. Firstly, it didn't look good, and I couldn't show it in my face. Secondly, I would inevitably be looked down upon by others. After thinking about it, I could only choose an ordinary devil fruit. These 3 devil fruits have no natural type, they are all ordinary animal types. But as the saying goes, there are no rubbish devil fruits, only rubbish fruit ability users. As long as you boast well, your father-in-law will be defeated sooner or later. Lian, these are 3 extremely rare superpower fruits. As long as you eat the fruit, you will gain superpowers. These 3 superpower fruits correspond to 3 different forms: wolf, falcon, and tiger. After eating, it can greatly improve physical fitness, and can transform into corresponding animals to fight, and there is no upper limit to its potential. Odin was surprised that Lian could give him something. In his mind, Lian didn't have to try to please him. On the contrary, he still wanted to fawn over Lian. Thank you. Asgard will remember your generosity. If you have any needs in Asgard, we will do our best to meet them. Lian, you're welcome, I'm just here to take a look around. After walking out of the immortal palace, Thor and Loki still led the way, accompanying Lian and Hela on a tour of Asgard. Lian, the environment in Asgard is really good. Living in this kind of environment, no wonder you ordinary people here can live longer. Thor, thank you for your praise. It is our glory that Asgard can get your recognition. Asgard tens of thousands of years ago was not what it is now. It was my grandfather and my father who continued to. It was only through the battles that Asgard was established. Hela smiled coldly and strongly disagreed with Thor's statement. Odin only knew how to promote his achievements and never said that wherever Asgard went, there were mountains of bones and rivers of blood. At that time, we were not considered righteous masters. You can't believe what he said. I can't believe it all. Hela was dissatisfied with Odin not only for sealing herself, but also for the fact that she was the stable heir to Asgard. Otherwise, she would not have worked so hard to conquer the world, but in the end, as the biggest contributor, she could do nothing. Even if he didn't get it, he was still sealed. Since ancient times, the emperor has really been a virtuous person. The rabbit dies and the dog cooks, and the bird is hidden behind the bough. Dichu. Pietro received a call from Wanda and knew that his sister was back. He hurried home and saw that his sister, who had disappeared for more than 2 months, had neither gained weight nor lost weight. He was relieved. Pietro, where did you go again? You disappeared for so long this time, which made me worry every day. Wanda knew Pietro was worried. After all, the brother and sister only had each other as a relative in this world. Wanda only acts like a sister when she feels that she has done something wrong. I just played for a little too long. I won't do it next time. I'm sorry for making you worry. When Pietro heard his sister's confession, he felt so relieved that his whole body was in a state of ecstasy. S.H.I.E.L.D. also knew about the return of Lian and others. Nick Fury felt that he had an idea instantly. Who was here? The Earth should be safe, right? Lian has no time to care about the safety of the Earth. He is drinking with Thor and Loki. While drinking, Thor told Lian his stories on the battlefield. Due to Thor's funny character, these stories are quite funny and dramatic, but that's right. After all, he has lived for more than 500 years and has experienced many things. The story could be written into several novels. When Thor talked about the frost giants, he seemed very excited. Without the troubles of the frost giants, he had been crowned king now. Without the troubles of the frost giants, he would not have been sealed by Odin and thrown to the earth. I am very disgusted and have been fantasizing about taking revenge one day. Li Yan really wants to ask, there is a guy sitting next to you, why don't you hit him to death with a hammer? Loki didn't look very good after hearing Thor's words. He wasn't dissatisfied with Thor, but he was dissatisfied with being a frost giant. If he were Odin's biological child, he would definitely be stronger than Thor. Li Yan stretched out his palm and pointed at Loki. Loki's skin instantly turned into the dark blue skin unique to frost giants. This startled Thor. Loki, what are you doing? Li Yan, maybe you are the only one in your family who doesn't know that he is a frost giant. Who knew Thor's IQ was so bad that he misunderstood Li Yan's words? He picked up the hammer, grabbed Loki's collar, lifted Loki up from his seat, and shouted. Say, who are you, fool? What did you do to my brother Loki? If he has any shortcomings, I will have all the frost giants buried with him. Hela couldn't stand it anymore. Now she only had 4 words in her heart, unfortunate family. Hela, that's enough, let him go, he is Loki. Loki broke free from Thor's hand. Although he knew that this guy cared about me, he didn't expect that I had such a status in his heart. But the hammer he held just now was really scary. Thor looked at Li Yan and Hela stupidly. Hela, I thought you knew, if you think about Odin and I and your physical fitness and strength, Loki is obviously not Odin's child. Thor looked at Loki with distressed eyes. It turned out that his brother was adopted. Did Thor not know what to say to Loki for a moment? Loki was already prepared. He knew that Thor would know sooner or later. Li Yan looked at his brother-in-law, the crazy demon Thor, and couldn't help but laugh. This guy has a low IQ, but he really values love. Indeed, after more than 1,000 years of getting along, even if he is not a relative, he will be better than a relative. Li Yan, okay, it's time for me to leave. Thank you for your warm hospitality today. Li Yan condensed 2 demonic powers in his hand, one was thunder and lightning, and the other was ocean. The thunder and lightning part was given to Thor, and the ocean part was given to Loki. After gaining power, the bodies of the 2 men changed. Thor's body flashed with thunder and lightning, while Loki's body undulated like water. Li Yan, I'll give each of you a small gift. If you have time, you can come to Earth to find me. Thor agreed immediately. He also had a little girlfriend on Earth. Just have time to go and take a look. Urso looked at the vibranium in his hand with blazing eyes. Now that all the materials are ready, it is time for the Chitauri army to come and completely destroy the world. And you will definitely be appreciated and rewarded by your master. Li Yan and Hela returned home. Hey, Pietro is back. How are you doing? Nick Fury is still alive. Pietro, it's not bad, and then complained. It's just that the braised eggs have reduced my vacation, causing me to only have 5 days off every week. Li Yan's face darkened. What kind of stinking problem is this? Director, please take a rest. You are really tired these days. Nick Fury sighed. Hey, you said we have searched all over New York, where is the Rubik's Cube? Nick Fury said anxiously. Coulson shook his head. Director, we don't have as high technology as those aliens, otherwise we wouldn't suffer such a big loss. Yesterday, SHIELD agents were investigating at the dock and found a few people who were very suspicious. When they were about to ask, the other party opened fire and killed 3 SHIELD agents, but they were killed by other nearby gods. The SHIELD agents surrounded and annihilated them. After a final check, they found out that this was just a group of ordinary Mexican drug dealers. They transported a ton of methamphetamine to meet people at the dock. This made Nick Fury very angry. A group of drug addicts just know how to smoke and wait. After handling this matter, he insisted on making those drug dealers pay the price. Urso and others were very lucky to witness the entire shooting process. Taking advantage of the chaos at the pier, Urso and others successfully escaped from the pier. Under the leadership of Eric the Leopard, they came to Eric's residence. Eric, when do you plan to take action? I advise you to act as soon as possible, just in case. Urso nodded. It wasn't that he was afraid of the people on Earth, but that he didn't want to and didn't dare to disobey Thanos' orders. 7 days later, we will take advantage of the darkness to climb to the top of a building and place the equipment there. After dawn, the great master Thanos will come, and this world will also usher in a new emperor. Through chatting with Pietro, Li Yan also learned that S.H.I.E.L.D's cosmic cube was lost. Wanda asked doubtfully, Pietro, can you really be an agent with your cotton-waisted mouth? Like a forger, Pietro took out a bunch of documents from his arms and placed them in front of Wanda's eyes. He said proudly, Dear sister, whatever certificate you want, I can get it for you. Li Yan, so, you are now working part-time to apply for fake certificates. What? These are all true, but we can use these things casually, and no one will check them anyway. After chatting for a while, Li Yan opened the portal and came to the Kingdom of Shadows and the world of pirates alone. In the starry sky, he saw the star-casting dragon King Thor working hard to cast new stars. The originally desolate Shadow Kingdom plane now had 4 or 5 star galaxies, and 60 or 70 stars of various sizes. When star-casting dragon King Thor saw Li Yan arriving, he put down what he was doing and flew towards Li Yan. Holy Lord, you are here. Li Yan, thank you for your hard work. I didn't expect you to build it so fast. Thor, Holy Lord, what I am building now is the entertainment star. I plan to build an arena of gods on it, as well as various challenging terrains. Sounds good. You build it well. After the construction is completed, I will hold a competition. Come with me to the new pirate world. Saul shrank his figure to the thickness of Li Yan's arm, and lay on Li Yan's shoulder. Looking at the new pirate world in front of him, Li Yan said, This place will be called Poseidon from now on. Poseidon, Warring States is leading the navy to build a new home, while Zephycarp and other powerful men are leading the team to guard the surroundings to prevent wild beasts from invading. Tens of millions of people here are busy and working hard to build new homes. I believe that it will not be long before this place becomes prosperous again. Li Yan looked at the flat open space in the distance. In just a few days, they had opened up a large area of land and selected the location to build the town. Warring States. Holy Lord, you are here. Li Yan nodded. Star-casting dragon King Thor, how is it? You should get used to it. Haha, it's so nice here. The people are so grateful to you. Even if you do nothing here, you won't go hungry. Food is everywhere. Star-casting dragon King Thor was very happy when he heard that. After all, he built this place. After bidding farewell to the Warring States. Li Yan flew to the sea. Looking at the sea tens of thousands of meters deep, Li Yan plunged directly into it. As soon as he touched the surface of the seawater directly avoided it, forming a vacuum area around Li Yan. As it continued to penetrate deeper, countless huge beasts appeared. These guys were just simple beasts without intelligence. They were either motionless or roaring on the bottom of the sea. Taking a fancy to 1,000-meter-long Neptune, Li Yan waved his hand and shot out a sword energy to kill it. He cut off a piece of the most delicious meat from the Neptune, and the rest was swallowed by the star-casting dragon King Thor. Well, it tastes good. Li Yan was so disgusted. I can't accept it when you eat it raw. I'll ask red-haired Shank's chef Lucky Lu to process it for me. Now Lucky Lu is regarded as Li Yan's exclusive chef. Although Li Yan has never tasted Zapu's food, he feels that in addition to being strong in combat, the chefs of the 4 emperors should also be among the best in the sea in terms of cooking skills. Li Yan, Shanks, have you seen Lucky Lu? Shanks, he's working on new dishes in the kitchen. Do you have anything to ask him about? Li Yan took out a huge piece of Neptune meat, let him process a few fish steaks and make a few side dishes, and the rest will be yours. Shanks smiled. It looked like the meat of a giant sea king, and it should be the most delicious part. While waiting, Li Yan chatted with Ben Beckman of the Red-Haired Pirates. Now Ben Beckman is still following the red-haired adjutant, with the rank of Vice Admiral. The red-haired man appealed to the Warring States many times to defend him. Although he had the strength of a general, he only had the rank of Lieutenant General. The Warring States believed that the position of general could only be appointed and removed by Li Yan, and no one else had the right to act, so the matter was delayed. Li Yan also knew Ben Beckman's strength, so he directly promoted his military rank to general without hesitation, and took out a reward he had received before, One Piece World Character Peak Skill Card. Are you sure to use Pirate World Character Peak Skill Card? Yes. Please select a person. Blackbeard Marshall D. Teach. Dip. The selection was successful. One Piece World Character Peak Skill Card. Remaining number of uses 3/3. Putting aside everything else, Blackbeard, who possesses the dark fruit and the shock fruit, feels that he is one of the strongest men in the sea. Ben Beckman's acquisition of this ability can be regarded as a switch from a shotgun to a cannon. In the dark basement, Li Yan stared at the Patek Philippe on his wrist, silently counting down the time to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, the cooldown time for follower summoning is over, you can summon new followers. Nice. Although Li Yan is now powerful and has many followers, only 5 of the 21 followers are summoned by the system, and 2 of them are rewards for completing hidden achievements. Looking at the 3 random summons, the quality was surprisingly high. Li Yan sometimes thought that he was the European emperor. He was lucky enough to get into the goddess of luck and see her body. Thinking about my first 2 summonses, I prayed to all the gods and Buddhas, kowtowed and offered incense. But this time, it was still this familiar basement, but the superstitions of the feudal society were gone here. Man, you still have to believe in yourself, why should I, the Emperor of Europe, bow to feudal superstition? Whether to use random summons. Yes, hey, the random summon was successful, and I got a new follower method. Hey, you have obtained all the abilities of this follower. In Li Yan's memory, Lufa's original identity was the commander-in-chief of the armored army of the beloved planet Ares. He was extremely capable, and his strength, agility, magic, and endurance were at the top level of the Netherworld Legion. Lufa once led the Ares warriors to fight bloody battles to safeguard justice in the galaxy, capture Emperor Yan, and assist King Pir ascend to the position of ruler of Ares. Because Ares spread the news that Lufa was planning to rebel, King Pil was offended and persecuted. He and 24 guardsmen were severely sentenced to the 3 crimes of greed, obsession and hatred. Born from the heart, he became a ghost demon who was neither human nor demonic. Lufa led his men to leave Ares with extremely unwilling hatred. Lufa fought back to Ares in order to make a comeback, take revenge on King Pil, and clear his grievances. He launched a crazy plan to seize energy crystals, and before evacuating Ares, he seized the treasure of Ares, the Shira armor and the Jengdan Vajra, the highest technological crystal in the galaxy. Lufa pays homage to the Holy Lord, and Lufa will always obey your will. Looking at Lufa in front of him, Li Yan was a little depressed. This guy must be at the bottom of his entourage now. Get up, bring me the Shira armor and the Jengdan Vajra pestle. Yes. Li Yan took a small flip phone from Lufa and looked at it carefully. How does this work, Lufa? Back to the Holy Lord, the Shira armor summoner is the only way to summon Shira armor. The normal state is transformed into the image of a mobile phone. The 4 buttons on the summoner are engraved with the symbols of the 4 elements: wind, fire, thunder, and darkness. A strong magnetic field will be generated during the fusion. The summoner must press the corresponding attribute keys in a certain order, and then put it on the gauntlet to complete the fusion. Li Yan nodded, turned on the summoner, pressed the attribute keys in sequence, and completed the summoning of the armor. Sura armor fusion. In an instant, the armor covered Li Yan. Although the Shira armor was not the ultimate armor, but just a king's armor, its power should not be underestimated. Among the armored warriors Xingtian, it has considerable strength. Shira armor has 5 weapons: Shira Windclaw, Heavenly Demon Blade, Shira Demon Dagger, Shira Purgatory Knife, Shira Purgatory Halberd, and also has the skills Shira 100 Breaks, Infinite Ray, Thunder and Lightning Strike, Shira Claw Slash, and Demon Dagger Ray. Purgatory Knife Slash, Teleportation, Taishu Phantom, Transformation, Monitoring the Past, and the ability to go back to the past. The special move is the God and Demon Extermination Cleave. The original owner of the Shira armor, Emperor Yan, relied on the Shira armor to become the galactic war hegemon. Emperor Yan was the leader of the Flame Star. He was arrogant and a martial arts idiot. However, he summoned the Shira armor to lead the Flame Star Xingtian Vajra flying shadow thousands of armor legions. Even though Lufa set many traps, he still wiped out all Ares troops except Lufa. Lufa evaluated him as the most powerful person in the galaxy, but Yandi's strength came entirely from the Shira armor. There is no Shira armor. The Emperor Yan is not worth mentioning at all. Later on Earth, Emperor Yan summoned Shira armor and instantly killed Lufa's son and Mixiu. In the form of Shira armor, Li Yan briefly moved his body in the basement, experienced the fun of being an armored warrior, and then released the summons. For him, the collection value of Shira armor is greater than the combat value of the armor. It is a piece of clothing. Very good collection of toys. Lufa brought another treasure, the Jengdan Vajra pestle, and handed it to Li Yan. Jengdan Vajra can reconstruct the molecular structure of all living things or non-living things, and has the ability to control all things. He threw the Jengdan Vajra to Lufa again, opened the teleportation gate and sent Lufa to the Ego planet. Although Li Yan looked down upon Lufa's personal strength, Lufa was once a general of Ares and had rich experience in leading troops. Li Yan planned to leave the space fleet to Lufa to lead it in the future. Late night, Li Yan is putting his heart and soul into it. This is much more fun than fitting armor together. In New York City, a group of people sneaked towards the Baxter building under the cover of darkness. Bottom of the Baxter building. Urso, it's very nice here. Now we only need to climb to the top of the building and activate the cosmic cube to open the portal. Eric, then what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Several people took out their climbing tools and began to climb up outside the building. They were careful and did not dare to be careless. If they missed Thanos' big event, Urso would not be able to lose it even if he had 10 heads. In the small safe on Urso's back, a mysterious mechanical device will be the key to success or failure. This device is like a disc, with a deep groove in the middle, in which the cosmic cube is embedded. This device, the disc, can activate the power of the cosmic Rubik's cube and open a giant portal. Soon, several people arrived at the top of the building. Urso stood on the top of the building and looked down. He said contemptuously, "This place will soon become a ruin. I seem to hear the wailing of the ants." Now that Urso's mission has been mostly completed, as long as the device in the safe is taken out and activated, a huge space portal will be formed over New York, and Thanos' Chidori army will swarm in like locusts. Eric urged, "Let's start quickly, so as not to have a long night and a lot of dreams." Urso, "Us, no, there's no us here." Before Urso finished speaking and before Eric could react, 2 alien soldiers picked up their weapons and shot at Eric. A shot hit Eric on the shoulder, knocking him down. The shot was so powerful that it almost killed Eric. With a quick step, Urso came to Eric and kicked him on the head, knocking Eric unconscious. "Stupid Earthling, you will be the first to die in my hands, but you will never be the last." Urso picked up the weapon and shot Eric's head. Urso looked at the body of Eric the leopard with no emotion in his heart. This native who had helped them a lot was just one step ahead of others. It was really an honor for him to die by his own hands. Urso signaled his men to alert the surroundings. It was time to get down to business. He carefully opened the safe containing the cosmic cube, took out the mechanical device inside, placed it on the ground, and turned on the mechanical switch. He shouted, "Great Titan, please come." The cosmic cube is activated, and a sky-reaching blue light beam shoots into the sky from the cosmic cube, forming a huge energy vortex in the sky. Energy is constantly emitted from the cosmic cube and pours into the ability vortex. As the energy stabilizes, a fan of space gate connecting unknown corners of the universe is formed. At 10 o'clock in the morning, countless people in New York witnessed all this, including Nick Fury. "We're in big trouble," he muttered. "Coulson, go and inform all the Avengers to assemble." Coulson is also very shocked now. Through the huge portal in the sky, he can clearly see the space fleet on the opposite side. For the Earth, which is still civilized on the surface, this is undoubtedly an unequal battle. Coulson immediately notified the American captain. The captain stood up and walked quickly to the window, opened the curtains, and looked at the huge transmission channel in the sky. He was speechless for a moment. This scene that only existed in science fiction movies actually appeared in the sky above New York. Pietro drowsily picked up his cell phone, disturbing his sweet dreams so early in the morning. "Hey, who is it?" Coulson's anxious voice came from the other side. "Pietro, come on, we're being invaded by aliens." Pietro sat up suddenly and looked at the calendar. Today is not April Fool's Day either. Are you kidding me? Are alien invasions so careless now? Coulson, there's no time to explain. Just look at the sky in New York and you'll know it. Pietro stood up and opened the curtains. Exclaimed, "My FAQ." In the huge portal that came into view, what was clearly visible was the opponent's huge space fleet. Many of the spaceships were only one step away from the portal. The battleships were about to arrive. Pietro put down the phone. His first reaction was to run away. He got dressed while running and came to Li Yan's bedroom door. Before he could knock on the door, He broke in with a bang. Li Yan and the other four stood up suddenly and looked toward the door. When I saw it was Pietro who knocked on the door. A few people looked dumbfounded. Li Yan was sleeping soundly in the morning when he was startled. The level of shock was no less than that of sleeping in someone else's house and their husband suddenly appeared and knocked on the door. Li Yan, Pietro, if you don't give me a perfect explanation, I will make you lose your third leg. Pietro yelled, oh no, aliens are coming. Bados pointed at himself in confusion. Are you talking about me? Wanda also looked confused and asked, what's going on? You must have been confused and had a nightmare, right? Pietro said incoherently. In the sky, aliens, the teleportation battleship is coming. Hey, I can't explain clearly. Let's run. Li Yan also realized it. Someone must have used the cosmic cube to open the portal, allowing Thanos' Chitauri army to come over. Li Yan scolded. You are so panicked, what if the Earth explodes? After 18 years, you will be nothing. Pietro also calmed down at this time. Also, there is nothing to be afraid of aliens. There are 4 people in Li Yan's room, 2 of them are aliens. Li Yan put on some clothes, walked to the window, opened the curtains, and saw several alien warships appearing over New York. Haha, I really made myself guess right. Bell bell. Pietro's phone rang. Hey, Pietro, are you here? The situation was urgent. This time Nick Fury called in person. Pietro. Not yet, what's the matter? Nick Fury. Hurry up, the Avengers are waiting for you. Pietro really wants to scold me, I'm the only Avenger of the thing, but it's me. Pietro hung up the phone, looked at Li Yan, and asked in a low voice, am I still going? Li Yan waved his hand. Go, go, I will send someone to help you later. Wanda. Since it's an alien invasion, why don't we help? Li Yan. Let them struggle first. The Earth is protected by strong people. It is not my turn to clean up the mess in such a small scene. Shield, Captain America, Tony Stark, Banner, Hawkeye, Natasha, Coulson and the newly arrived Pietro. This is all the power Nick Fury can muster now. This lineup has more Pietro than before. But Thor is missing, and the villain this time is not Loki. I wonder if Thor will come to join the battle. Everyone present looked grave. Although the military had dispatched a large number of troops and all kinds of missiles were ready, the advanced alien civilization was simply not something that humans could compete with now. Nick Fury glanced at everyone. To make a long story short, this alien invasion is very urgent and caught us off guard. But there is no way. The enemy has already reached our doorstep. We must not compromise and must fight to the end. Don't worry. We still have hidden methods, but we can't use them easily unless absolutely necessary. It's up to you, everyone. At this moment, a SHIELD agent ran in. Director, the enemy is coming. Nick Fury quickly ran to the window and saw the opponent dispatching countless Leviathan steel beasts. On the sides of these giant steel machines, countless Chitauri soldiers poured out. They jumped onto the block and began to kill civilians. Urso stood on the top of the building, dancing excitedly. Today, Urso will also go down in history. He will even be promoted by his master Thanos and become Thanos' confidant. Human soldiers are dispatched on the ground, and countless aircraft and tanks join in. However, the aliens' weapon defense is far superior to that of the Earth. It is like fighting with firecrackers and rockets. Nick Fury, Avengers, it's your turn. Tony Stark put on the steel suit, smashed the glass on the window and flew out. He fired one cannon from his palm, harvesting the lives of the intruders. Dr. Banner transformed into the Hulk and roared, rushing into the depths of the enemy. Begin to destroy the steel Leviathan beast. Captain America, Natasha, and Hawkeye also took to the streets with their own weapons to join the fight and protect civilians. Li Yan teleported Zephyr, Hawkeye Mahawk, and Kizaru out of the Shadow Kingdom plane. See the Holy Lord, Li Yan, I'll give you 3 a task. Guard my house outside the door and kill any aliens who dare to approach. Yes, outside Li Yan's house, Hawkeye Mahawk pulled out the black sword Yi, and with a slight wave, a sword energy shot out and cut the steel Leviathan beast a few kilometers away in half. Hawkeye Mahawk's action caught Tony Stark's attention. He turned around and looked towards the source of the sword energy. Tony was flying in the air when he saw 3 people standing in front of Li Yan's house. These three guys were dressed in strange attire. They looked like they were the army of a certain country. They had the word, justice, embroidered on the back of their cloaks and coats. Tony complained. Why are there so many people who want to be superheroes now? What should these guys be called? The Cloak of Justice? Jarvis. Mr. Stark, I want to remind you that among those three people, two are taller than normal. After testing, they are over 3 meters tall. What, are there normal people 3 meters tall in this world? Tony observed and found that the three of them had been guarding outside Li Yan's house. When Chidori soldiers approached, they would take action to kill them. They would not take the initiative to attack Chidori soldiers in the distance. They would just act as if they were innocent. Guard. Tony Stark confirmed that there was no threat to them and then turned around and left, going to support Captain America and the Widow's sister. Asgard. Odin sent for Thor and Loki. Children, the Earth is being invaded. Now, I am sending you two to represent Asgard to support. Thor was very enthusiastic when he heard that he could go to Earth and there would be a war, but Loki didn't have much interest in it. Loki. The Earth is no longer under our rule, why should we care about their life and death? Odin. Because we Asgard are still in charge of the 9 realms, and I am still the master of the 9 realms. We cannot stand idly by either emotionally or rationally. Odin continued. When the war is over, you two should not come back in a hurry, but go visit your sister Hela. There is an irreconcilable misunderstanding between me and her, but this should not affect the three of you siblings. Relationship, I hope you can help each other. When Loki heard this, he quickly waved his hand and said that I was adopted. Odin shook his head. No, child, you will always be a part of this family. You can't escape what you have to face. Rainbow Bridge. Thor said to Heimdall. Send us to Earth. A colorful beam of light fell from the sky and appeared on the New York battlefield. The appearance of the Rainbow Bridge attracted the attention of the Avengers and the Chidori army. Behind the huge portal over New York, inside a huge battleship, a purple-skinned giant wearing golden armor sat on a high suspended throne. He leaned against the throne, holding the handles on both sides of the throne with both hands, and leisurely looked at the screen in front of him, which showed every move of the Battle of New York. He is the leader of the invaders, the brutal titan in the universe. The appearance of the Rainbow Bridge made him straighten his back and touch his chin. This time the test had achieved its purpose. It seemed that now was not the time. A powerful and deep voice sounded. There is no need to continue to increase the number of troops, let those soldiers try the strength of the Earth. Yes, looking at Thor on the screen, he showed a cruel smile again. The universe is in turmoil, and the old and the new are alternating. Isn't this a good time to do it yourself? The appearance of Thor and Loki surprised Nick Fury. He knew Thor's strength. With Thor's help, the Earth's chances of winning would be much greater. Thor knocked away a Chidori soldier with one hammer. He said to Loki, "Stop watching the fun and help quickly." With their addition to the Avengers, the speed of clearing Chidori soldiers has accelerated a lot. At the door of Li Yan's house, Kizaru was wearing his favorite yellow striped suit and the Admiral's cloak of justice. He kicked his legs and shot out a golden beam of light, knocking out the Leviathan beast that wanted to get closer with one blow. The violent explosion attracted a large number of Chidori soldiers to come here. Hawkeye Mahawk held a black knife and released several slashes at will. All the Chidori soldiers who tried to get closer were cut in half. Now there is a safe zone for several miles around Li Yan's house, and there is not a single Chidori soldier. Li Yan was sitting on the balcony at home, drinking milk and eating bread leisurely, watching the battle in New York in the distance. After observation, there are no longer any Chidori soldiers entering the portal in the sky. Although we don't know what the other party's purpose is, without the continuous flow of Chidori troops joining us, the pressure on everyone is instantly reduced a lot. These remaining soldiers, sooner or later it will be cleaned up. Captain America and Natasha cooperated with each other on the ground. With his physical fitness beyond the limit, Captain America killed the enemy without hesitation. The vibranium shield was his best weapon. Hawkeye stood on the roof of the building, providing long-range support with arrows. With false hair, he plays the role of a shooter. The Hulk is so powerful that no Chidori can fight against him. Anyone who meets the Hulk is beaten into a meat pie. The huge steel Leviathan beast, in the eyes of the Hulk, it is still vulnerable. Thor, the god of thunder, looked at the densely packed Chitauri soldiers around him and raised his hammer to summon thunder and lightning. Suddenly, the sky was covered with dark clouds, lightning flashed and thunder, and Thor was also covered in lightning. Now Thor not only has his own power of thunder, but also has the power of lightning. With the origin of the thunder and lightning demon given by Li Yan, his strength increased at least 10 times. When he dropped the hammer, countless bolts of lightning instantly fell from high altitudes and accurately hit the Chitauri soldiers. This move electrocuted countless Chitauri soldiers into ashes. Tony Stark said excitedly, "Thor does it again." Urso stood on the top of the building, looking at the portal that no longer sent any soldiers. No matter how much he prayed or shouted, no soldiers or warships appeared. Of course, there was no way he would get the slightest response as he had long been an abandoned son. Ba didn't even remember his name at all. Looking at the situation below, without the investment of troops, defeat was just a matter of time. He was desperate. Now he understood that he was just a humble pawn who could be easily discarded. Even though he tried his best to protect the commander in the chess game, he was still just a chess piece. At this moment, he cracked, he turned black, he wanted to take revenge like Thanos, he didn't want to be a pawn, he didn't want to grovel, he knew that he could not take revenge on the powerful Titan, but the group of people below can. He made an almost crazy move. Under the gaze of Nick Fury and others, the sky-reaching light pillar suddenly disappeared. Without the energy supply from the cosmic Rubik's Cube, the portal instantly shrank until it disappeared. Yes, Urso closed the portal. The picture in front of Thanos disappeared instantly and turned into a dark screen. He had a dark face and felt more uncomfortable than eating fly shit. Someone dared to betray him. Bang! He slammed the armrest of the throne, stood up, and walked to the leader of the Chitauri. Thanos' cold voice sounded, "That traitor is you Chitauri, right?" The leader did not dare to hide it and knelt on the ground in panic. He said tremblingly, "Yes, I didn't know he would betray you. If I knew." Thanos was not interested in listening to his explanation, so he took the spear of General Deathblade next to him, and with a pop sound, he directly pierced the head of the Chitauri leader. Urso closed the space door, and now all the Chitauri soldiers here have lost contact with the command center. Now he is the nominal supreme commander here, and all soldiers must obey his orders. Urso directed the soldiers to stop fighting and gather near the Baxter building, surrounding him in the middle. He wants to negotiate, at least before he takes revenge, he cannot die here. All the combatants also stopped fighting, and the situation at the scene was confusing. Li Yan, it's interesting that the plot has changed so much. Urso stands on top of the Baxter Tower and shouts, "I am the highest commander here now, and I want to negotiate with you." Nick Fury stood in the distance. "What are you going to talk about?" "Urso, you are too weak. I want to negotiate with you, the strongest person." Nick Fury had no choice but to explain. "I am the highest officer here. If you want to negotiate, just talk to me. I can make the decision." Urso hesitated for a moment. "We stop attacking and you let us leave." Urso's words made Nick Fury frown. The battle has been going on so far. Hundreds of thousands of civilians on his side have been injured and killed, and tens of thousands of soldiers have been killed. It seems that the other side is about to be completely wiped out. If the war ceases at this time, although his side will not, there were casualties again, but he was still a little unwilling to let the other party go so easily. Li Yan saw that the fighting was about to stop. What could he do? "I haven't seen enough yet." Li Yan, who was sitting on the table, directly activated the power of the sheep talisman to let his soul leave the body. Although he could leave the body without using the sheep talisman, it was still formal to use the sheep talisman. Li Yan's soul appeared behind Urso, suddenly got into Urso's body, began to control Urso's words and deeds, and browsed Urso's memories. It turned out that he was a poor abandoned man. "Urso, since you can't make the decision, then find someone who can make the decision. It won't do you any harm to let us go. To show my sincerity, I will return the cosmic cube first." Urso put the cosmic cube into the previous safe and threw it from the top of the Baxter building. The Chitauri soldiers below picked it up and sent it to Nick Fury and others. Tony Stark. Jarvis scans the surface to see if there are any dangerous bacteria or viruses. Jarvis. Everything is normal, no abnormalities found. Nick Fury looked at the box on the ground and asked the agent on the side to carefully pick it up and send it to isolation. He felt that the other party did not really surrender. But the top executives of the United States believed it to be true. They all sat in the heavily defended underground offices with their big bellies. They breathed a long sigh of relief, and the solemnity and fear on their faces faded away, and they smiled. It's finally over. One congressman said, "This task of negotiating with aliens is still dangerous. There shouldn't be any danger anymore. The aliens are at the end of their game now and they don't dare to act recklessly." The President of the United States thought for a while and said, "The task of negotiation can be left to our Secretary of State, but I must be present in person when accepting surrender. This will be a major event recorded in world history." Agree. High-level officials in the United States agreed to the President's proposal. Soon, several cars drove out of the White House. The U.S. Secretary of State was sitting on them, looking at the documents prepared by the Secretary. Most of these documents are about compensation issues, because they want to find an explanation for the tens of thousands of people and soldiers who died. Although they don't care about the lives of these people, they must do what they should do. Soon the convoy arrived at the scene of the confrontation between the two sides. Nick Fury stepped forward and said seriously, "Mr. Secretary, it will be dangerous for you to go there now. I have a bad feeling." "Haha, really? I really don't know. What is the use of S.H.I.E.L.D. that spends a lot of dollars every year? Aliens have invaded our doorstep, but your S.H.I.E.L.D. has no effect at all." Facing the Secretary of State's ruthless ridicule, Nick Fury remained calm. Over the years, he had become accustomed to it, and his thickness of skin had already exceeded the city wall. "I have already said what I have said. As for whether you listen or not, I have no right to interfere." The Secretary of State smiled contemptuously and turned towards the Baxter Building where the Chitauri were. He was scared to death in his heart, but after looking at the dozens of presidential bodyguards around him, he felt a little relieved. He took a deep breath, straightened his clothes and ties, and walked away. Tony Stark looked at the arrogant U.S. Secretary of State and said disdainfully, "Don't wet your pants for a while." Urso, who was possessed by Li Yan, stood on the roof of the Baxter Building, looking at the U.S. Secretary of State who came to die. Li Yan smiled, "Now this war can continue. I am not doing this for myself. It's a bad idea, but to train these Avengers. How can they stand alone without going through ups and downs?" After a while, the U.S. Secretary of State took the elevator to the top floor with many bodyguards. The Secretary of State of the United States said, "Hello, I am the Secretary of State of the United States, and I am here to take charge of your surrender negotiations." Li Yan sneered, "Accept our surrender, why don't you have a camera? Can't you do a global live broadcast just because I don't have a face?" When the Secretary of State heard this, he was slightly startled. "You still want to show off when surrendering? Is surrender so ceremonial now?" But he smiled immediately. It seemed that the time had come for him to show his face. "Okay, please wait a moment, we will arrange it right away." Then he called the president and told Li Yan's request. Soon, both aerial photography helicopters and reporters were put in place. Urso, who was possessed by Li Yan, slowly stood up and walked to the side of the U.S. Secretary of State. He raised his hand to grab the U.S. Secretary of State by the neck, lifted him up high, then crushed his neck with force, and then dropped his body from the top of the Baxter Building. Everyone at the scene was instantly shocked beyond measure, and every one of them had their jaws dropped. This surrender ceremony, which was broadcast live on the entire internet, actually had a huge twist. The aliens did not respect martial ethics, deceived the U.S. government, and killed the U.S. Secretary of State. All the people were angry. This group of arrogant people did not even know how to repent. A road leads to darkness. Nick Fury looked at the U.S. Secretary of State who fell to the ground and was smashed to pieces. He was also furious. The negotiation broke down. No, this was simply the other side's conspiracy. Attack. Looking at the Avengers and U.S. troops rushing over below, Li Yan shouted, "Aliens will never be slaves unless they have food and shelter." He then released his control over Urso. After regaining consciousness, Urso looked confused and didn't know what was going on. When he heard the shouts of death under the Baxter Building, he looked down, and then his eyes suddenly widened, and he yelled angrily, "Despicable and shameless." Earthlings with martial ethics, you are looking for death, fight back with all your strength. Li Yan's soul returned to his body and grinned, it's my turn to show off my Shira armor. Due to the heroic sacrifice of the U.S. Secretary of State, a war is about to break out. Even if Urso kneels down and begs for mercy, no one will believe him anymore. He is an alien liar with a bad character. The Avengers, the American army and the Chitauri army led by Urso once again started a melee. This time, the firepower from Earth's side was even stronger. Urso's side was already at a disadvantage, and now it was completely unable to withstand it. While attacking, Urso angrily scolded humans for being untrustworthy and despicable. Even his subordinates couldn't stand his scolding, but he didn't dare to speak. Listening to his rants, the Avengers looked at each other in confusion. Is this alien seriously ill? The brain circuit is so strange, breaking the contract first, killing people last, and dares to scold the people on Earth for having no credibility. Nick Fury's black face was as gloomy as water. If it weren't for his black skin, he would be as dark-faced as Zhang Fei. But looking at his trembling body, you can tell that he is obviously very angry. The members of the House of Representatives on the ground floor of the White House were all silent now, sitting obediently on their chairs. They were originally secretly regretting that they did not get this opportunity to show their faces, but they watched the Secretary of State's neck being crushed, and he appeared from the top of the building like throwing it away like garbage. The body fell to the ground and fell into pieces. No matter how good the jigsaw player was, it would be impossible to recover. Some of them were secretly thankful, some were gloating about the misfortune, and some felt it was a pity. Why didn't the president just go? That's right, let you and the president wear the same pair of trousers. It's okay now. Even your mother may not be able to recognize the dead body without a complete body. The president's face was also very ugly. He and others were fooled so easily, and it was broadcast live all over the world. When he thought that his face had been thrown out of the earth, into the universe, and lost his name in history, he was the stupidest in the history of the world. He has secured the throne of the president. It is estimated that no one will have the strength to push him away. He feels even worse than eating fly excrement. He became angry and yelled at his secretary, "Get me a call from the military and tell them to beat me hard. Throw all kinds of missiles up at me and kill these turtles." The beautiful secretary was shocked. She is no longer your little baby, but she is actually being cruel to her. The fierce attack of the people on Earth made Urso panic. This was not the ending he wanted. He originally thought that he could escape from the Earth. Even being a scavenger in the universe would be better than dying on the Earth. Now the universe Rubik's Cube no, I somehow killed the officials who came to negotiate, and now I am completely dead. Li Yan was at home and took out the Shira armor summoner. He planned to participate as Shira armor. This would also be his new identity in the future. Asura armor fusion. He transformed into the Shira armor again. Since the Shira armor did not have the ability to fly, he transformed into another scene and appeared directly on the streets of New York. He took out the weapon of the Shira armor, the Shira purgatory knife, and began to kill the Chitauri soldiers wantonly. The Avengers did not pay special attention to the sudden appearance of the mysterious man. In this situation, as long as the Chitauri soldiers were fighting, they were friendly. The power of Shira armor has been fully exerted in Li Yan. Now he has the advanced version of Overlord Color Dominance King's Chi, which is consistent with the strongest Chi required by Shira armor, and is different from Lufa and Xingtian armor summons Ren Shaoshan. Li Yan's King's Chi has no distinction between good and evil. It is also good when it is said to be good, and it is also evil when it is said to be evil. Therefore, the strength of the armor will not decrease in any way with Li Yan's mood fluctuations. Li Yan was killing happily when he looked up and Tony Stark flew not far away to talk to him. It was the first time that Tony saw someone other than himself possessing high-tech armor, and he couldn't help but be very curious. "Hey, brother, you look so handsome in this armor and you even have a cape." "Li Yan, yours is not bad either." Because Li Yan changed his voice, Tony couldn't hear his voice. "Tony, what is the material of your armor? It looks very light. And why don't you add a flight system?" "Li Yan, no need, my armor has the ability to change scenery. You can understand it as teleportation anywhere you want." After speaking, Li Yan took Tony directly to the top floor of the Baxter building. Now you know why I don't have to fly. Tony nodded in understanding. This ability to directly transfer space is not something Tony can access now. Then what should you do if the enemy escapes? Li Yan said very confidently. No one can escape in my hands. Urso looked at the two people who suddenly appeared at the top of the building and quickly stepped forward to attack. Urso is an elite of the Chidori, and his physical fitness is several times that of ordinary earthlings. But to Li Yan, he is just an ant, not even an ant. The Shira Purgatory knife waved lightly, and with the blessing of his great swordsmanship, a sword energy hit Urso's arm. Ah! Accompanied by a scream, Urso's arm was cut off and blood spurted out. Urso fell to the ground, clutching his broken arm and letting out a piercing cry. Li Yan walked slowly to Urso's side and used the skill of Shira Armor, Shira Purgatory Slash. A purple sword energy passed through Urso's body. With Urso's scream, his body exploded, but the smoke dispersed. Go, a card is floating in the air. Li Yan stepped forward curiously to check. Name, Urso. Species, Chidori. Status, sealed. He held the card in his hand and put it on his waist. The card turned into a ray of light and entered his belt. It turns out that Shira Armor, like other armors, can seal defeated enemies into cards, or it can completely kill enemies. Enemies sealed into cards can be resurrected by injecting energy into the cards. Tony Stark couldn't see Urso, who was sealed into a card. He was a little curious about what Li Yan was doing just now. Hey, what were you doing just now? Nothing. Since the biggest villain here is dead, let's go support the others. Here, Li Yan performed a transformation and came to the side of Thor, the god of thunder. Thor saw Li Yan's sudden appearance and greeted him. Hi, I am Thor, the god of thunder. The guy with a pair of horns and a green cloak is my brother Loki. What is your name? Li Yan replied lightly with 2 words. Shira, Shira. Thor recited several times silently, but he didn't have the slightest impression. Thor, nice to meet you. Li Yan nodded. Your hammer is good. I will give you the knife. Can you lend me the hammer? Thor smiled proudly and explained. It's not that I won't lend it to you. My father has put magic on my weapon. Only those approved by the hammer can lift it. Li Yan, how will you know if you don't try? Seeing that the other party refused to give up, Thor handed the hammer to Li Yan. Li Yan held the handle of the hammer. Well, so light. Thor opened his mouth wide and looked at Li Yan playing with his hammer in disbelief. Looking at the hammer in Li Yan's hand, he suddenly felt sour. Lemon was not as sour as Thor's heart. You are no longer my little baby. Li Yan wields Thor's Meowth hammer and kills everyone. Thor is also very powerful with Li Yan's Shira Infernal Knife. Even though Thor usually uses the Meowth hammer, he also has 18 kinds of weapons, proficient. In terms of weapon quality, the Shira armor is the king's armor made by Yangtze. Although the accompanying weapons are very powerful, they are still not as good as Thor's Meowth hammer. After all, the Meowth hammer is an artifact made by the dwarves, but for Li Yan the Shira armor is just a piece of equipment for daily entertainment. He can also get the Emperor armor in the future. The remaining Chidori were quickly cleared away, but most of the city was destroyed, with ruins and ruins. This bustling city was greatly traumatized, and the reconstruction work was also a heavy burden. Throughout New York, tens of thousands of civilians were directly or indirectly injured due to alien invasion. The government sent a large number of soldiers to rescue the wounded, but it still took some time. Although the enemy was defeated, the pain left by the war on civilians was not so easy to dissipate. Nick Fury couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the severely damaged city in front of him. Hey, fortunately, there are Avengers on Earth, otherwise the whole of New York would have been razed to the ground. All the Avengers came together. The war had just ended. Everyone was exhausted physically and mentally, but they finally won, and the invaders paid the due price. Captain America, Natasha, Hawkeye, Pietro, Thor, Loki, Banner, Tony and others all saw Li Yan transformed into Shira armor for the first time. Captain America stretched out his hand and greeted Li Yan. Hello, I am Captain America. What do you call me? Just call me Shira. I hope to join the Avengers and defend the Earth with you. Nick Fury instantly became energetic. His team was getting bigger and bigger now. He was thinking about how to retain the other party, but he didn't expect that the other party actively wanted to join the Avengers. Nick Fury quickly expressed his position. The Avengers welcome anyone to join, and the She-Ra Avengers welcome you. Thanks. Nick Fury asked curiously, can you tell me your specific strength? This will also help everyone's teamwork in the future. Li Yan picked up Thor's hammer again, shook it in his hand and said, the hammer does not recognize me. Thor and Loki were stunned. Thor was surprised. How is this possible? The spell cast by Odin did not fail, which meant that the She-Ra in front of him was stronger than his father. Li Yan. She-Ra is my code name. I am the summoner of She-Ra armor. She-Ra armor is one of the strongest armors in the entire galaxy. She-Ra armor is a set of king's armor. Above She-Ra, there is the even more powerful Emperor armor. Let's not mention the Emperor armor for the moment. As a king's armor, the She-Ra armor has extremely strong attack and defense power. It can monitor the past, go back to the past, teleport and other powerful abilities. My power comes entirely from the She-Ra armor. This is me. Current strength. Loki. We have never heard of these two sets of armor. Was your armor made with the help of the dwarves? Li Yan shook his head, not intending to tell the truth. After all, the identity of the summoner of She-Ra armor was a good armor. I am not very clear about the origin of the She-Ra armor. I am the summoner chosen by the armor. It is my mission to use the power of the armor to uphold justice. Nick Fury. Okay, She-Ra, your strength is obvious to all. I hope you can work together with other Avengers in the future to contribute to protecting the Earth. After stating that he had joined the Avengers, Li Yan said goodbye to everyone. I still have something to do, so I'll take the first step. When there is a crisis in the future, I will show up again. After Li Yan left, the other Avengers came to S.H.I.E.L.D. Today was the first time for these Avengers to work together, and some of them only got to know each other today. Everyone sat together to discuss the future safety of the Earth. Tony Stark. Aliens came once. Who can guarantee that they won't come again? We should be well prepared to prevent such a thing from happening again. Tony pointed at Nick Fury and continued. Also, for this alien invasion, you, S.H.I.E.L.D., have an unshirkable responsibility. If you hadn't insisted on studying the Rubik's Cube, the Earth would not have been exposed to the eyes of aliens. Nick Fury had nothing to say or defend himself. Due to the asymmetry of information, they did not know that Thanos was behind Urso, and they also did not know that Thanos invaded the Earth solely to snatch the gems. The meeting fell into a brief silence. Coulson changed the subject. It's really strange today. Urso had already planned to surrender before, so why did he kill the Secretary of State in the end? Coulson wondered. Tony waved his hands and didn't care. He looked down upon those politicians in the United States. If you die, you will die. There is nothing worth studying. I am very interested in that She-Ra armor. If I can study it, I believe my steel suit can be even more powerful. Thor said. That shouldn't be a product of the Earth. He lifted Thor's hammer without being recognized by Thor's hammer. This shows that he has more power than my father Odin. Everyone was a little shocked. They didn't know how strong Odin was, but based on what Thor said, Odin's strength was at least dozens to hundreds of times stronger than Thor. It raised the suspicion that Thor was bragging. It's only 10 times more powerful. Banner asked Thor, you mean, that could be alien equipment? Thor shook his head and said nothing. He didn't know the origin of the other party. When he got to Li Yan, he planned to ask Li Yan. Using transformation to change scenery, Li Yan returned home and removed the She-Ra armor. Li Yan took out a bottle of water from the refrigerator, unscrewed the cap, and took a sip. Today was quite interesting. After a while, Loki and Thor, led by Coulson, arrived at the door of Li Yan's house, but unexpectedly they were stopped by Kizaru and the others. Brother, please take a detour, this road is blocked, Kizaru said lazily. Thor and Loki looked up at the 3-meter-tall Kizaru and Zephyr. Loki. Hello, we are here to find our sister, Ms. Hela. Please inform us. Oh, he is a relative of the Holy Lord, please wait a moment. Kizaru came to the door and knocked loudly. Li Yan opened the door and saw Kizaru standing outside the door. Huh. I forgot about you three. Now I will send you back. Holy Lord, Ms. Hela's brother came to see her. When Li Yan heard this, wasn't Hela's brother Thor and Loki? Let them in. Led Thor and Loki into the house. Hela, your two brothers are here to see you. After hearing this, Hela came down from upstairs and saw Thor Loki. Hey, what a rare visitor. Thor and Loki were a little cautious, but they still had the courage to say hello to Hela. Loki's mouth was a little sweeter and he spoke first. Sister, are you all right coming in? Hela nodded. Not bad. Why did Odin send you two here? No, I've always wanted to come to my eldest sister's house to visit, but I just haven't had the chance. Li Yan summoned a few shadow soldiers to bring drinks and tea. His brother-in-law was here, so he had to entertain him no matter what. Why didn't you take action in the previous battle in New York? Thor asked curiously. I have no interest in taking action against these little fish and shrimps. Why did your father ask you two brothers to come and support them? Yeah, Thor acknowledged with a nod. A man who calls himself Shira Armor has just joined the Avengers. He is very powerful, but I have no impression of this man. Do you know his origins? Li Yan nodded, and fooling Thor was equivalent to fooling the reunion. You know a little bit. Shira armor is between the ultimate armor and ordinary armor. The king's armor is very powerful, and can even travel through time and return to the world. In the past, in short, among the many members of your Avengers now, they are definitely the ceiling of strength. Thor then asked, have you heard of the Emperor's armor? Shira said that the Emperor's armor is much stronger than him. Is this true? Li Yan secretly said, I told you, how could I not have heard it? The Emperor's armor is the first and ultimate armor. It has an armored beast, the Emperor of Light and the Dragon. At the same time, the Emperor's armor is also the supreme ruler of the bright world, the strongest armor in the bright universe, the incarnation of the way of heaven, and dominates everything. You say he is it strong or not? Why haven't I heard of it? Thor asked. Without going too far, do you know that there is a supreme mage on the earth? Do you know that there are inhumans on the moon? Do you know that there is a group of Eternals on the earth who have lived for 7,000 years? Thor shook his head, looking ignorant. Li Yan, then you are still so confused. If you have nothing to do, use your muscles more and your brain less, otherwise your hair will fall easily. After a while, Pietro also returned home and looked at Thor and Loki sitting on the sofa. Why are you here? Pietro's impression of Thor was okay, but he didn't have a good impression of Loki. Thor smiled awkwardly. We are here to visit relatives. Pietro glanced at Hela and understood. Pietro said to Li Yan, by the way, Professor X needs your help, but he asked if you have time. Li Yan had just returned from the pirate world and had always kept a low profile, so Professor. Li Yan, when did he ask? It's been several days. Pietro scratched his head in embarrassment. Li Yan was helpless. Pietro had such an unconventional character, but he was helpless. Forget it, we just had a fight today and killed the US Secretary of State. Professor X, let him wait. Okay, I understand. I'll be there tomorrow if I have time. Li Yan said to Thor. I just have something to trouble you about. I'm going to Nidawi to build some weapons. You and Loki just happen to be free to take me there. Loki is so clever, but he doesn't like staying with Hela. No problem, let's leave now. Li Yan waved his hand to open the portal and brought Torloki to Nidave. The dwarf king Ikwi saw Thor and Loki, as well as Li Yan who had been here once before, and quickly stepped forward to greet them. Eitri. Hi Thor, long time no see. Thor also laughed when he saw his old friend. Haha, long time no see. How is Ikwi recently? Ikwi nodded and asked, are you here to make weapons again this time? Yes, Ikwi. Did you bring the drawings? Let me take a look. Thor said to Li Yan, brother-in-law, what are your requirements this time? If you don't have the drawings, you can ask a dwarf to draw them for you. It's not that I want it, but that I want to forge some useful weapons for my men. Li Yan opened the portal to Poseidon, the plane of darkness, and called Zephycarp and other general-level subordinates over. Ikwi couldn't help but widen his eyes as he looked at the 13 strong men walking out of the portal. The aura of these people was very strong, and Thor's aura was not as powerful as these people. Ikwi secretly thought that being able to have so many powerful subordinates was extraordinary after seeing Thor's brother-in-law. But this guy used a lot of Ulu Kabelko to make a toy last time, which is still unforgivable. If it breaks, I have to hide the remaining Ulu Kabelko quickly. What's wrong with you? You don't look very good. Thor was confused. No, it's okay, I didn't sleep well last night. Warring states. Holy Lord, what are your orders for summoning us? Li Yan looked around. Warring states, Zepha, Garp, Kazaru, Aoki, Akainu, Shanks, Enel, Ben Beckman, Long, Yishao, Mahawk, and Barrett were all here. Done. Li Yan, this is Nidawi, which has the best weapon forger. I promised you before that I will forge a new weapon for each of you. Today I am here to fulfill my promise. There will be a dedicated dwarf forger master soon. If you need weapons or armor, you can tell them, and they will use the best metals to forge them, ensuring that what is forged is the best of the best. Zepha, Shanks and others looked at the spectacular scenery of Nidawi and were very shocked. This was the first time they saw stars as melting pots. Li Yan remembered another important thing. 4 of the 13 followers did not receive the abilities he bestowed upon them. It just so happened that everyone was here today, so let's finish it. The first is Dragon. He is a natural wind fruit user. Li Yan happens to have the wind demon origin that matches him very well. The combination of the two can take Dragon's abilities to a higher level. He can create or control hurricanes at will. You can use the powerful destructive power of the wind to attack, or you can compact the wind to form a defensive wind wall. You still have to slowly explore and develop many abilities by yourself. Then there is Yishao. His ability is the superhuman fruit ability. He can control gravity and pull meteorites from the sky. Li Yan has the demonic origin of the moon demon curse blue in his hand, which can strengthen Yishao's ability and give him control. Centripetal gravity and lunar gravity have been developed to the limit and can even control universal gravity. Now Yishao can float in the air without the gravity of any planet, and can also make objects float without being affected by gravity like a golden lion. Barrett is a superhuman person with the ability to combine fruits. His fruit ability is very powerful. He has the ability to arrange and combine all objects to merge them into one body. He can fuse the inorganic objects he touches with his own body. Not only can it be integrated with the body, but it can also combine inorganic materials and rearrange them to create new weapons. For example, submarines or weapons can be built from scrap metal and rubble. Barrett, who grew up on the battlefield, used this ability to create inexhaustible weapons. Li Yan plans to give Barrett the demonic origin of the Earth Demon to increase his ability to control the Earth. Coupled with the fusion fruit, Barrett's strength will definitely skyrocket. Imagine that Barrett can transform into a mountain at will. In terms of size, Li Yan estimates that even the flame giant Searcher may not be as tall as Barrett after his transformation. The most difficult thing for Li Yan is Hawkeye Mahawk. He is a simple swordsman. He does not need devil fruits or special powers. These abilities will not enhance Mahawk's strength, but will hinder his swordsmanship. However, Li Yan did not increase his swordsmanship ability and had to give him strength. This comfort was difficult to handle. Li Yan rolled his eyes and had an idea. If you can't give him power, then give him a real artifact. Chapter 71. Li Yan wants to forge a divine sword for Hawkeye Mahawk, at least as high as Thor's hammer. As for the other followers, Li Yan plans to let the dwarves use vibranium as the main material and add other auxiliary metals to create a weapon or armor that they are satisfied with. Since Li Yan wasted a lot of dwarf Ulu Kabelko the last time he made armor and a sword, this time the dwarf king refused to give in. If he wanted to use Ulu Kabelko, he could only get the same level of Ulu Kabelko metal in exchange. This makes Li Yan and Tuor feel embarrassed. Ulu Kabelko is one of the best metal materials in the universe. It is rare but hard to find. Now Li Yan and others are asked to come up with metals of the same quality. There is really no way. Li Yan glanced at Thor's hammer with evil intentions. Then he joked, "Thor, how about you lend me your hammer? I'll give you a new one later." Thor quickly hid the hammer behind his back. "Impossible, you can't even think of hitting me with a hammer." "Then what should I do? That guy is too stubborn," Li Yan said. Loki smiled evilly. "I know that there is a person whose weapons also use a lot of rare materials. If I can steal it, maybe the Dwarf King will agree." Thor hesitated. This is not good. Li Yan knew that Loki was a bad guy. "Tell me first, who is this lucky audience you are targeting?" "Searcher, the fire giant." Searcher is an important character in Ragnarok, the ruler of Muspelheim, and possesses a huge fire sword, the Sword of Twilight, but now that Hela is by Li Yan's side, Ragnarok has already it's impossible to happen, and Searcher is now very weak without the blessing of the eternal fire. Even Thor can defeat him. Li Yan touched his chin. This guy is a waste of air. It's better for me to get to know him and use his weapons. Li Yan waved his hand to open the portal. Torloki wanted to follow, but was stopped by Li Yan. You two wait for me here, I'll be right back. Li Yan went directly to Muspelheim, the hometown of the flame giant Searcher, and saw that the place was deserted, with smoke and dust floating wantonly in the air. Li Yan remembered that Serta seemed to be hiding underground. The huge spiritual power centered on Li Yan and spread outward. Soon Li Yan discovered clues about Searcher's existence. Asura armor fusion. After transforming into Shira armor and using the ability to change scenery, Li Yan appeared in an underground palace. The reason why he didn't bring Thor Loki with him was because he was afraid of revealing his secret. After Li Yan planned to steal Searcher's weapon, seal it into a card and keep it for future use. Looking around, this is the place where Thor and Searcher fight at the beginning of Thor 3. Facing the sudden appearance of Li Yan, Surtle picked up his weapon and was on guard. Who are you? Li Yan looked at the guy in front of him who was holding a long sword, with a pair of horns on his head, and his body was like red lava. Are you Searcher? Who are you? What are you doing in Muspelheim? Searcher asked in a deep voice. Li Yan, since you are too lazy to talk nonsense, let's get straight to the point. Searcher felt something bad. The other party was obviously evil. Although he lost the eternal fire, his lava-like body still contained huge power, so he was not afraid of Li Yan, but now he was dormant, looking forward to the future. When the twilight of gods comes, he can destroy Asgard and take revenge on Odin, so he doesn't want any additional trouble. Searcher stood up, with a body of more than 10 meters tall, looking down at Li Yan. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a large number of flame demons to surround Li Yan. I'm giving you a chance. Leave now and I will forgive your crime. Asura Purgatory Sword. He took out his weapon and started to attack, slashing out sword energy one after another. The nearby flame demons were like bright fireworks, exploding with bang bang. Searcher roared angrily. You are looking for death. Wielding the flaming giant sword, Li Yan struck at Li Yan. Li Yan raised the Shira Purgatory knife with one hand to block. With the loud sound of metal collision, the powerful impact spread to all directions. The ground under Li Yan's feet was shaken with countless cracks. But Li Yan didn't move at all. Searcher's eyes widened. His angry attack was easily blocked by the other party. He suppressed the anger in his heart and did not dare to show any contempt anymore. Searcher raised the flaming giant sword and poured his own energy into it. From the tip of the sword, blazing fire was sprayed out, mixed with hot lava. The surrounding temperature suddenly increased, and the ground was melted into fiery red magma by the heat wave. Li Yan jumped back and avoided Searcher's attack. Put away the Shira Purgatory knife and take out another weapon, the Shira Purgatory halberd. Experience the fear of lava. Searcher roared. Haha, I won't play with you anymore. I have business to do when I go back. Li Yan held the Shira Purgatory halberd in his hand and used the Shira armor's ultimate skill, the God and Demon Extermination Cleave. A beam of purple energy shot out from the Shira Purgatory halberd and hit Searcher hard on the chest. The huge force caused Searcher to fly backwards and hit the wall violently, breaking the wall into pieces. He was seriously injured in an instant. Then Li Yan waved the Shira Purgatory halberd again, and his special move, God and Demon Extermination Cleave, directly destroyed Searcher and turned it into a card. Pick up the card. Name: Searcher. Race: Fire Giant. Status: Sealed. It seems that no matter who is sealed, the card will only display these three states. Picked up Searcher's weapon, the Sword of Twilight, opened the portal and returned to Nidave. Searcher's weapon, the Sword of Twilight, is made of an unknown mysterious metal, but there is no doubt that Searcher's sword is an artifact that can be compared with the Eternal Spear and Thor's hammer. When Thor saw Li Yan coming back, he came forward and said, "How's it going? Did you get the weapon?" Li Yan threw the Sword of Twilight on the ground, and Ikui quickly ran over, picked it up from the ground, and examined it carefully. What a great sword, so beautifully forged, I really don't know whose masterpiece it is. Hey, wipe your drool. Ikui smiled awkwardly. Dear guest, do you want to exchange this sword for Urukabelko? No, I hope you can modify this sword and make it suitable for use by my subordinates. Okay, no problem at all, I will turn him into a new artifact. Li Yan is still very confident in Ai Kui's skills. No two brushes can become Asgard's royal forging master. Dwarf King Ai Kui heated the sword of twilight brought back by Li Yan in the stellar furnace. As the temperature of tens of thousands of degrees burned inside the star, the sword of twilight began to melt and turned into a metallic liquid smelted by an unknown metal. The fiery red molten iron flowed into the prepared mold, and Ai Kui added a piece of molten Uru Kabelko and the prepared vibranium into it. The casting material of this sword has surpassed Thor's hammer, but I don't know how to cast the sword. How powerful is it? After the sword embryo in the mold cools down slightly, Ai Kui picks up the forging hammer and starts hammering, ding, 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 ding. According to Ai Kui's estimate, this weapon will take at least a day to be carefully hammered. Only then can the forging be completed. Warring States walked to Li Yan. Holy Lord, our equipment has been forged. Except for Barrett, the rest of us have chosen a piece of armor. Li Yan nodded. Everyone received the power he gave, and their attack power was greatly enhanced. It was a good choice to choose armor to increase their defense capabilities. Hawkeye Mahawk was left here to wait for the weapons to be released, and the rest were sent back by Li Yan. Warring States and others are very busy every day on Poseidon, and they need to deal with everything big and small. After some time, everyone has adapted to the new life, then they can be much more leisurely. Mahawk said to Li Yan with a slight worry, Holy Lord, I'm worried that I won't be able to control such a powerful weapon. Li Yan patted his shoulder, feeling so secretive that since I can pat your shoulder and don't have to raise my neck to talk to you, your worries are unnecessary. Don't worry Mahawk, you are the greatest swordsman under my command. There is no weapon in the world that you can't control. If there is, let it disappear completely. This will be your first artifact, but it won't be your last sword. I still hope that your swordsmanship will surpass the great swordsman and reach a higher level in the future. Mahawk, I believe you can do it. Mahawk encouraged Hawkeye. Thinking about it, one day a person suddenly comes into contact with a power system that exceeds his own understanding. It will indeed shake his mentality a little, but it will also make him clearer about the way forward. Thor and Loki were both a little bit sour, and Li Yan's subordinates were really too happy. Such a precious weapon such as an artifact was given at will. As Li Yan's brother-in-law, he didn't receive such treatment. Surtle said, You guys are so sour, I have lost my life, I have made the biggest sacrifice here, and I will not accept any refutation. Dong dong dong, the powerful knocking sound resounded throughout Nidawi. Looking at Ai Kui who was sweating profusely, Li Yan was also a little embarrassed. This was the second time he had troubled him to help forge weapons. Although it was the first time he gave it to I bought a lot of vibranium from the other party, but after all, we are also very particular people. Li Yan decided that if there is a chance next time, he will definitely give Ai Kui some benefits to show his encouragement. In other words, I brought such precious materials to him for forging, and he should. I'm also very happy. The knocking sound is getting more and more intense, and the sound is getting louder and louder. Ai Kui is concentrating on it now and dare not be careless at all. The quality of the weapons forged will drop a lot if there is a slight mistake. That is a waste of these precious metals. Ai Kui has never let this happen. Thor, almost successful, right? Eitri shouted. Thor, come and help me. Thor looked confused. Although we all use hammers, I don't have the ability to make iron. How to help? Invoke your strongest thunder and lightning attack, and beat the sword with me. Just beat it 3 times. Okay, no problem. Li Yan watched Thor's body flash with lightning, raised Thor's hammer high, and struck it down hard. Well, it looks like he's a good wielder of a hammer. Boom. The violent noise made people's ears buzz, and all the sounds of blacksmithing in Nidawi were muffled. Then the second, then the third. In the last roar, a sword shining with crimson light was born. Hawkeye Mahawk quickly stepped forward and held the handle of the sword, carefully looking at this crimson artifact similar to Black Blade Knight. The blade pointed towards the outside is slightly curved and convex. The widest part of the blade is only 1 centimeter. The back of the blade curves with the blade. There are 2 blood grooves and 2 water ripple patterns on both sides. There are 3 concave teeth on the grip for better grip. The blade it is extremely sharp. The crossbar of the handle and the blade form the shape of a cross. It is also inlaid with several purple gems the size of pigeon eggs. There are inscriptions flashing on the gems. Yes, these enchanted gems are extra gifts from Ikui. This knife, the sword, is so powerful and beautiful that it is simply a work of art. Ikui wiped his sweat and nodded with satisfaction, proud that he had forged another artifact. Hawkeye Mahawk held the handle of the knife with both hands, his eyes sharp, but the blade began to tremble violently, as if it had life. It recognized the weak Mahawk. Hawkeye exerted all his strength, and veins popped up in his arms. Now his eyes were wide open. Light, this sword was the strongest sword in his heart. Seeing that Mahawk would not let go, it began to inject powerful energy into Mahawk's body, trying to use the energy to burst Mahawk. Li Yan quickly stopped him when he saw this. He didn't want to lose a swordsman with unlimited potential. Li Yan reached out and grabbed the blade with all his strength. The sharp blade could not break Li Yan's skin, and the trembling blade became quiet. So spiritual. Ikui. Of course, the material used to make the sword itself has strong magic power, and after a lot of enchantment, the quality of this sword now far exceeds Thor's hammer. Li Yan took the sword from Mahawk's hand and held it in his own hand. After feeling the energy contained in this artifact, Li Yan integrated the flame demonic energy into the sword to increase the fire control ability of the artifact. Li Yan flicked the sword with his fingers. Ding, makes a crisp sound. You'd better be honest, or I'll break you into pieces and remake you. In my eyes, there's no difference between you and a piece of paper. Give the sword back to Mahawk. Li Yan, give it a name. Mahawk thought for a while, as if asking about the sword's will. I own Black Blade Knight, and you are Black Blade Knight's brother. Call you, Chiong. Why, facing the knight, they are like twin brothers. The dust has settled, Hawkeye Mahawk has obtained his ideal weapon, Li Yan has fulfilled all his promises to his subordinates, and now he can go home. Li Yan opened the portal and prepared to go home. Thor Loki followed closely behind him. You two aren't going back to Asgard? Li Yan was curious. Thor Loki smiled awkwardly. My father said, would it be convenient for us to stay at your house for a month? It's convenient, but you two are not afraid of your sister Hela anymore. It's okay, as long as you are here, she won't dare to make any waves, Loki said quickly. They were all real relatives, and Li Yan was too embarrassed to refuse forcefully, so he took the two guys back home. Li Yan summoned several shadow soldiers to clean up a room for Tan and Loki each, prepare some daily necessities, and told the former red-haired pirate's chef on Poseidon, Rakiru, to prepare a sumptuous dinner. At Xavier College, Professor Beast Hank, Professor, please take a rest. If something happens later, you will have to take action. Professor X, hey, I wonder if Li Yan is willing to help. The reason why Professor X didn't go to Li Yan directly was entirely because of Tianchi. The old guy Apocalypse is very shrewd. He wants to become the king of mutants. In order to make the mutants stick to him, he specially warned these guys not to let them cause trouble to Li Yan again. You can just go to him directly for anything. He has indeed solved many mutant problems before and his prestige among mutants has greatly increased. But this Apocalypse guy made a miscalculation. Li Yan sent him to Yi Zhe, and he did not show up to him. Plan to get him back. Magneto sighed. Hey, it would be great if Master Apocalypse was here. Early the next morning, Li Yan had just gotten up and before he could have breakfast, Pietro called. Hey, I'm at Xavier College. Professor X said that Chin's condition is very bad. I hope you can come over and help. What? Why didn't you tell me earlier that something happened to my wife? Using teleportation, he instantly appeared next to Professor X, hung up the phone with Pietro, and asked. What happened to my wife? Your wife? Huh, your wife. Oh, I'm sorry for spilling the beans. How is Chin? Pietro stood aside and looked at Li Yan with contempt for a scumbag. If it weren't for the fear that my sister would become a widow, I would have beaten you to death. It's not because I can't beat you that I won't fight you. The main reason is because for my sister's sake. Thinking of Li Yan hugging her every day, holding her twinkling little hands suddenly no longer smelled good. Professor, looking at Chin who was lying unconscious on the bed, Li Yan stretched out his hand to touch her forehead. Her skin was as warm and tender as jade, and it was still as soft and silky. Although her eyes were closed tightly, she was still beautiful, and her proud breasts were stunning. Ahem, business matters. Use your own mental power to probe into Chin's mind. Now Chin's mental space is on the verge of collapse, Chin's self-awareness has begun to blur, and her dark personality is growing. It won't be long before Chin will completely turn black and transform into a black phoenix. Now Li Yan wants to suppress Chin's dark personality. It is no longer possible. Once Chin's dark personality is attacked by Li Yan, he will definitely rise up to resist. Chin's mental space, which is already on the verge of collapse, may be shattered. But this does not trouble Li Yan. Li Yan activated the yin and yang balance power of the tiger talisman to transform Chin into two individuals with different qualities of good and evil. In everyone's surprised eyes, another Chin appeared. Professor X was surprised. What's going on? The appearance of this Chin was basically similar to that of Chin lying on the bed, but her eyes were scarlet, and the energy emitted from her body made everyone feel scared. She looked directly at Li Yan. It was obvious that the energy contained in Li Yan's body frightened her, and she did not dare to do so for a moment. The slightest movement. Li Yan woke up Chin, who was lying on the bed. The weak Chin Gray opened her eyes, looked at Li Yan, and then looked at other people in the room. The key is that she saw another self. Chin was a little surprised. What's going on? I'll explain it to you later. He picked up Jean Grey, who was lying on the bed, opened the portal, and said to the Dark Phoenix beside him, "Follow me. Come to the Kingdom of Shadows. I randomly found a planet that Thor had cast and put down the piano." Li Yan looked at Black Phoenix. Since the Tiger Talisman can separate good and evil personalities and powers, the fragments of the Phoenix Force are now in Jean's dark personality. It is precisely because the fragments have their own consciousness and are combined with Jean's dark personality that the Dark Phoenix is born. "Who are you?" the dark personality asked, but it was actually the fragment of the Phoenix power that asked. Li Yan shouted, "Saul, come out and tell him who I am." Li Yan finished speaking. A huge dragon head appeared from the depths of the universe. The huge body of Star Dragon King Thor could not appear inside the planet, but his tip of the iceberg still made Black Phoenix feel unprecedented pressure. Chin Gray's body couldn't help but move towards Li Yan, leaned close to him. Even the bravest people did not dare to look directly at such a behemoth. Facing the star-casting dragon King Thor, Black Phoenix did not dare to breathe. If she were stronger, she still had the power of Hesuo. If you are qualified to fight, Saul would not be his opponent if he were in his perfect body, but now she is just a fragment, and Saul has the ability to completely tear her into pieces. Holy Lord, Thor obeys your will. Thor also noticed the Dark Phoenix on the ground. He murmured, "The breath of the Phoenix." Li Yan was also stunned. Logically speaking, this should be Thor's first meeting with Dark Phoenix. "Have you met?" Thor shook his head. "No, I once saw an ice phoenix in a place called Freljord. She is a demigod born in the biting ice wind. She can control the elemental power of ice and snow. That it was a long, long time ago." Dark Phoenix is a little at a loss now, hating why he didn't hide for a while and why he came out in such a hurry. "Li Yan, you are the other side of Chin's personality. I don't want to kill you, but I can seal you permanently. I know your purpose of coming out is to find other fragments of you." Dark Phoenix: "Yes, I feel my other fragments, and they are also giving birth to their own will. Once the other fragments gather more fragments than me, I will not be able to resist the fate of being swallowed. This is easy to handle. How about you surrender to me and I will help you find other fragments? But it doesn't matter if you don't surrender to me. I will still help you find other fragments. I will not care who of you absorbs who. It's gone." Dark Phoenix was helpless, wandering around the universe. As the most powerful existence in the past, when had he ever felt so helpless? Li Yan knows that the complete Phoenix power is the almighty universe level. She is the embodiment of the original life force and emotional power of the universe. She is immortal and changeable. She was born between the chaos of the universe and the beginning of all things. She is the only one in the almighty universe, the connection point of the spiritual soul of all things that exist or will exist, and now the Dark Phoenix is just one of her billions of fragments. This brings together all the fragments of the Phoenix Force to become the real Phoenix Force. Forced by circumstances, Dark Phoenix must either die heroically or recognize the reality, and she soon made a decision. Chin Gray's dark personality and the fragment of the Phoenix power made the right choice, which was to follow Li Yan, which at least increased the chance of finding other fragments. Witnessed by Sol and Chin's kind personalities, Black Phoenix knelt down on one knee and surrendered to Li Yan. Hey, we detected a new follower, Jean Grey's dark personality, a fragment of the Phoenix Force. Hey, since the two followers are not perfect, you can't obtain any abilities of the followers. Hey, a new mission is born. Task: make the complete Chin surrender. Voluntary mission. Mission: collect Phoenix power fragments and help the Phoenix fragments condense into complete Phoenix power. Voluntary mission. Listening to the system prompts, 2 more missions suddenly appeared. I originally thought that I could also get a ray of Phoenix power, but I didn't expect that I would have to collect them all. Li Yan looked at Chin's dark personality. This is half of Chin's. Her surrender cannot allow me to gain Chin's power. At this time, Li Yan had an idea. First, let Chin's dark personality and kind personality merge into one. In this case, it is the dark personality that dominates Chin's consciousness. Then her surrender means Chin's surrender. Then she will use the tiger charm to turn the darkness into one. Separate personality and kindness, so that you can still experience double happiness. Just as he said, he lifted the power of the tiger talisman, and the 2 Chins instantly merged into one, with Chin's dark personality dominating Chin's consciousness. Submit to me now. The dark personality was very obedient. She knelt down on one knee again and surrendered to Li Yan. Hey, mission 1 is to make the complete Chin surrender. Completed. Dip. Get all of Jean Grey's abilities. Hey, mission 1, the rewards are being settled. Hey, the reward settlement is successful. Get the reward X Gene, Colossus. X Gene, Colossus. It can give the user the ability of Colossus. This was a so-so reward, not bad, but it was not that great. After complaining, Li Yan activated the spell to separate Chin Grey's good and evil personalities again. He did not forget his double happiness. Now that Chin's crisis has been resolved, she opens the portal and returns to Xavier Academy. How's it going? Is Chin safe? Professor X couldn't wait to ask as soon as he saw Li Yan appear. Until he saw the 2 pianos coming out of the portal, he was still a little unbelievable. I separated the good and evil sides of Chin, so that I don't have to suppress Chin's dark personality, and I don't have to worry about Chin's good personality being harmed, Li Yan explained. Pietro looked at the 2 pianos with thoughtful eyes. He felt contempt in his heart. He didn't believe that Li Yan had only one way to do such a simple thing. In the final analysis, no one could refuse double happiness. Twinkle's little hand was held in Pietro's palm. Now Pietro was muttering in his heart, it would be great if Twinkle could clone himself. We can also experience double happiness. Li Yan, Chin's dark personality is too dangerous. I can't let her threaten the safety of other students at Xavier College, so Chin will stay with me for the time being. After I find a solution, Chin can come back. Although Professor X and Magneto felt that Li Yan's intentions were impure, they had no choice but to risk the safety of other children. There are so many things going on recently, one after another, but fortunately after finishing everything, I can lie in the arms of a beautiful woman and eat tofu. At night, Chin's kind personality lay in the guest room of Li Yan's house, turning over and over without feeling sleepy. She was wandering on the edge of life and death these days. Fortunately, Li Yan appeared and saved her, but she asked, I know you it's to protect me, but do we need to be so close? Oh, the distance between us is as thick as a piece of white paper, what else do you have to worry about? Good boy, go to bed quickly, I, a gentleman, will not touch you with my hands. Thinking of the beautiful woman next to him, Li Yan remembered a wise saying, if you are poor, look at the appearance, if you are rich, use the Tao. Also not sleepy is the dark personality of Chin lying beside him. Yes, Li Yan lied that there was only one guest room in the house and arranged both Chins here, while he was trying to prevent accidents. The pretense of happening, shamelessly squeezed in the middle. Although the kind personality has surrendered to Li Yan and his favorability has increased infinitely, the kind personality is still a little embarrassed. The dark personality has no worries, and now it is almost crawling on Li Yan. Li Yan closed his eyes and fell asleep, and none of the 3 people made any sound. Fortunately, the dark personality could talk to the Phoenix power, so it was not as boring as the good personality. Can he really help you find the other fragments? Jean's dark personality asked. We can only believe in him. The 2 of us have become one, and there is no possibility of separation. So if you want to become stronger, try to help me. Qin, who has a dark personality, agreed and saw Li Yan's strength. She had already regarded Li Yan as her backer. In the dead of night, the gentleman's hands began to move around, caressing Qin's smooth back, plump figure, and slowly hugged Qin's slender waist. Qin felt the warmth of Li Yan's arms in the hazy state, but suddenly, she faced Li Yan's lips, she slowly began to blur, her whole body felt hot, and after a while the bed began to shake, creak, creak. The dark personality on the side widened his eyes, carefully admiring Li Yan's strong muscles, and from time to time he stretched out his hand to touch and teased with his eyes. After the previous war, all parts of New York are now trying their best to recover and rebuild, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is even more busy. The previous death of the U.S. Secretary of State made this group of politicians see the important value of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s existence. Dangerous matters must be left to professionals. No matter how stupid people are, they don't dare to show off now. Nick Fury knew that a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity had come. He opened his mouth wide and bit down a piece of meat. His mouth was filled with satisfaction. Nick Fury, who was rich and wealthy, put the construction of a space battleship on the agenda. Thor and Loki have been living on Earth these days, tasting Earth's delicacies and experiencing human entertainment. They have a panoramic view of the prosperity of New York. After getting acquainted with Pietro took the two brothers to the most luxurious nightclub in New York. The consumption level here is estimated to be the highest in New York. Various models, flight attendants, and young actors can also be met here. The consumption and entertainment here are the project made Thor and Loki blush. Even though they had lived for thousands of years, they had never enjoyed it so much. But when they saw that Pietro was a regular visitor, he actually had a membership card. Pietro, brothers, have fun, we have changed our appearance, no one can recognize us. Thor, that's not good. I feel sorry for Jane Foster. Pietro nodded. Yes, I feel sorry for Twinkle too. After saying that, he hugged a beautiful woman and went to the private room. If Li Yan knew that Pietro was taking the two princes of Asgard to Envy Piao and Envy Chong, he would definitely say, you are still a genius. If Odin knew about it, he would crush your third leg under his feet. Tony Stark planned to organize an Avengers gathering, and all the Avengers gave him 3 points and agreed to come. Tony specially came to invite Li Yan, hoping to see if he could bring Li Yan into the Avengers, but Li Yan was not interested and refused directly. Tony felt very sorry for this and expressed regret. In the blink of an eye, Thor and Loki spent a month of happy time on Earth. Today, the two brothers dragged their tired bodies and planned to return to Asgard. Before leaving, the three of Pietro had one last carnival. Thor and Loki asked him to swear that no one else would know about it. Pietro readily agreed. Don't worry, I'm also involved. If Twinkle knows, he won't let me go, Pietro said confidently. The three of them smiled knowingly and wished that the friendship between prostitutes would last forever. In fact, friendship between men is so simple. After receiving the assurance, Thor and Loki were picked up by the Rainbow Bridge and returned to Asgard in front of everyone. Rainbow Bridge. Thor and Loki looked at Heimdall feeling guilty. Thor thought to himself, this voyeur must not have noticed what he and Loki were doing. Heimdall looked at the two princes and kept avoiding them, not daring to look at them. He thought of some unsightly scenes. It was so dark that he was worthy of being the son of Odin. His fighting power was as strong as that of an animal. Heimdall reacted abnormally, and the clever Loki secretly thought that Odin must have known about what he and Thor had done on Earth. He was panicking, but he still had to go to see Odin. The two of them walked into the hall of the Immortal Palace tremblingly. Except for Odin on the throne, there was no one else in the hall. Odin sat on the throne without anger, with a stern expression, and his eyes were like knives staring at his two sons. Now he was very angry. These two scum of Asgard not only destroyed his own, his face was lost, and Asgard's face would also be ruined. The Prince of Asgard did such a sloppy thing on Earth, and it made him angry just thinking about it. You two fools, kneel down, Odin shouted angrily. Loki was so frightened that he knelt down quickly. I think I, the majestic lord of the 9 realms, have never experienced a dragon. Bah, my majestic king of the gods actually cultivated 2 shameless lechers. This Asgard really has no successor. Thor and Loki didn't dare to quibble. Odin had given them enough face, and even their mother didn't know about it. The two of them quickly admitted their mistakes, conducted a deep self-examination and repented, and shifted the responsibility to their prostitute Pietro. Fortunately, Odin is soft-hearted in his old age, not to mention his own son. The most important thing is that he dotes on the two brothers very much, people. But Odin still decided that these two little fools must be severely punished, otherwise there is no telling what ridiculous things they can do in the future. Now I will punish you two with 3 months of confinement each. During these 3 months, you will reflect on it. If you dare to be so ridiculous in the future, see how I punish you too. Yes, father. Torloki breathed a sigh of relief and quickly stepped back, looking at their backs. Odin's eyes were full of love. As a father, he was already proud of his son. These small mistakes were just episodes in the growth of a man, but the two have special identities, and sometimes they cannot make any mistakes. Avengers has ended. Since the Mind Stone was not taken to Earth by Thanos' men, Li Yan thinks Avengers won't happen again, right, but he can't guarantee it. Who knows what changes will happen in this bullshit Marvel universe. With nothing to do, Li Yan went to Yi-Ji's place. Now Yi-Ji's place is also prosperous. Ability God, Boros, Apocalypse, and Rick are all here. Rick's previous research on devil fruits has only a few research results so far. That is, if a devil fruit is planted in a specially treated environment, it will take root, sprout, and bear the devil fruit again. If it develops in this direction, Li Yan estimates sooner or later, the devil fruit tree will be researched by Rick. When I came here today, Li Yan wanted Rick to create a tracker for Phoenix Force fragments. Otherwise, Li Yan would have gone to find so many Phoenix Force fragments in countless multiverses. Holy Lord, you are here. Hello, Rick, what have you been studying lately? The devil fruit that you, Holy Lord, told me before, and the genetic medicine that Apocalypse entrusted me to help develop, as well as some research that I did when I had nothing to do. I didn't expect you to be so busy. Did Tianchi make some kind of deal with you, or did he threaten you? No, he has no ability to threaten me. We made a deal. I hope to get Apocalypse's super lifespan and rapid self-healing ability, while Apocalypse needs some strength enhancement. The two of us hit it off, and I extracted Apocalypse's the blood is being studied as soon as possible. Oh, Tianchi is such a clever little guy, he actually knows how to ask you for help. Rick laughed and said, I am the only one who can help him, so he can only find me. After telling Rick to research a Phoenix Force fragment tracker when he had time, Li Yan went to find Egg and Boros. Under the leadership of Ability God, they played the Ven card in the world of Super God Mechanic. These cards are all transcendent A-level characters, playing against each other according to the settings, and under the guidance of the Ability God, several people played with gusto. It can be seen that these guys are really bored. It's time to give these guys something to do. Seeing Li Yan approaching, several guys put down their cards and stood up to greet him. Holy Lord. Well, I see you are getting rusty from being here. Don't worry, I will find something for you to do soon. When a few people heard this, they immediately became energetic. Now they feel uncomfortable all over and feel that life is no fun at all. This group of usually lawless guys are now like salted fish, with no dreams or pursuits. They just hope to find someone to practice their skills. After chatting for a while, Li Yan opened the portal and returned to New York. Now there are 5 women at home. Li Yan feels very happy every day. He does not dare to stop taking Lubati Dewang pills and Shinbao tablets for a day. Even so every day, I feel sore in my back and weak all over. I have no choice but to have too many women. It is also a worry. Chin's kind personality gets along well with the others. They talk and laugh every day, which adds a lot of fun to life. Li Yan is rich and generous, and the material life he provides for his wives is definitely the highest in New York. They have all kinds of bags. Lipstick and perfume are all bought home in piles. Luxury goods are piled up at home. Those who don't like it are simply thrown away. As a result, the sanitation workers near Li Yan's house have all bought cars and villas, but Chin's dark personality is it's hard to get along with him, and he seems a little out of place. Now that the Marvel world is peaceful, Li Yan can't sit still anymore. After all, his followers are going crazy because of the stress. He decides to go to other worlds to do things in a few days and take them for fun. After packing his bags, Li Yan was ready to set sail again. Poseidon, who temporarily settled his wives in the Shadow Kingdom, coaxed them with delicious food and drinks. He went to Yi Ji's place, taking Ability God, Apocalypse, and Boros with him. As for Lufa, he let him stay here to keep Yi Ji's company. When he was ready, Li Yan took out his teleportation gun and fired a green light, forming a green vortex door. Li Yan walked into it first without hesitation. This was his absolute confidence in his own strength. The whole world could pose a threat to him. Or there is not much left. Through the portal, the desolate land comes into view. The brown soil on the ground is very barren, and the endless Gobi Desert has no breath of life. Li Yan made a confused nasal sound. He really couldn't figure out where this place was and how it could be such a desolate and barren place. Hey, the monitoring host has left the original Marvel universe and is in another plane. Now it is monitoring this plane. Dip. Monitoring completed. Hey, it has been detected that the host is located in the Adventures of Lolo plane. Hey, now turn on the mission mode. The mission rewards will be settled after leaving. Hey, Mission 1. Get at least 50 mechanical life followers in this plane. Mandatory mission. Hey, Mission 2. Disguise yourself as the king of machine war in this plane. Mandatory mission. Hey, Mission 3. Unify all the armed forces in this plane and establish a unified political power. Voluntary mission. Hey, Mission 4. Destroy the villain Blue Poison Beast. Mandatory mission. Hey, Mission 5. Collect energy amethysts. Voluntary mission. Oh, it turned out to be the world of Luo Luo's adventures. Li Yan vaguely remembered that the protagonist Luo Luo here was a young genius game master. He was best at playing a 3D computer game called Machine War King. This is a game with the background of robots fighting each other for supremacy. However, on a night of thunder and lightning, Lolo was no longer a bystander in this war. A strange bolt of lightning injected powerful energy into Lolo's computer and pulled him from the real world into the virtual world of Machine War King. Li Yan knew that in this world, there were two major races of machine warriors living on this continent. They were the motorcycle race and the beast race. This is a world completely ruled by mechanical life forms, and every robot is training hard with the goal of becoming an outstanding warrior. Li Yan pinched his chin, thinking about what was worth planning here. For Li Yan, who has a simple family tradition, if you don't pick it up while walking, you will throw it away. His family's simple family tradition cannot lose its prestige in his own hands. After thinking about it for a long time, I felt that except for some cars, some planes, and bulldozers that can be used for transportation, there seems to be nothing worthy of careful planning. Do I want to have a mass migration? Let's go, find a place with people to understand the situation first. Li Yan and the others flew in the air, carefully searching for traces of civilization. Looking at the desolate ground, a figure suddenly appeared. Li Yan and the others quickly landed on the ground. When Li Yan saw the face of that person clearly. Lolo. Who are you? Where is this? Li Yan didn't reply, but directly imprisoned Luo Luo, and then put him into a deep sleep. He wanted to pretend to be the king of machine war, but he couldn't let him mess up. After his mission was completed, he would send him back to his reality world. Li Yan couldn't do it to kill an 11-year-old child who was not a threat. Li Yan remembered the place where Luo Luo appeared. It won't be long before the Human Torch will pass by here. Instead of looking for it himself, it is better to wait and see, and he can study the mission carefully. The mission is still very simple, which gives me a lot of room to play. Missions can be easily completed as long as you arrive in the City of Time. The only time-consuming task is the third task, which is to unify all the forces in the world. As for the fourth task, Li Yan estimates that the Blue Poison Beast has a grudge against the system. It is also very simple to collect energy amethysts. Just go to the Fire Dragon Valley, where there are a lot of energy amethysts. Waiting for Li Yan to develop it. After waiting for a while, a red sedan drove towards this direction at a high speed. Li Yan smiled. According to the plot, the thunderbolt was coming, and now it was time for Li Ji and Wang Yan to appear. From a distance, he saw the Black Iron Beast army chasing him behind the thunderbolt. The fleeing Pilahuo was stopped by Li Yan and 4 others. He transformed into a motorcycle rider and asked with some confusion, Who are you? What's the matter? Li Yan said it directly in a tone that left no room for doubt. Have all the motorcycle tribes degenerated into this? As a motorcycle warrior, you don't even recognize the motorcycle king. The Human Torch was stunned when he heard the king of machines, and his brain couldn't react for a moment. You don't know me, but I know you. You are the Thunderbolt and come from the City of Time. Your ultimate move is Thunder Half Moon Slash. The current City Lord should be your teacher. Li Yan told the whole story about the Thunderbolt fire. This made the Human Torch even more confused. He really didn't know these people. Could it be that the King of Machine War really appeared? Otherwise, how could you know yourself so well? Apocalypse and Polo were both curious about the mechanical life form of the Human Torch. Looking at the Human Torch's height of 8 or 9 meters, his strong body, and even his infinite life, they couldn't help but sigh. The well-informed ability god was not surprised by the Human Torch. He even hated these mechanical beings. He remembered that he was still an innocent boy doing bad things in the universe without any worries. Suddenly, very soon, the mechanic led a sneak attack without respecting martial ethics. He encountered the Waterloo of his life and was sealed. Alas, by the way, is he still in the amber of time and space? Li Yan clicked his tongue. I've already told you that I am your machine war king, but you still don't believe me. Human Torch explained. It's not that I don't believe you, but the machine war king only existed in the ancient wars. That was a long, long time ago. I have never seen the machine war king, so it is normal to have doubts. Looking at the Human Torch in front of him, although he is weak now, he is brave and upright and loyal enough to be a friend. Whenever there is a battle, he will always rush to the front, and in times of crisis, the Human Torch will never leave his friends alone. Escape. Because of this, he gained the respect of the motorcycle race robots. And Li Yan feels that he, like Optimus Prime in Transformers, is a born leader. While a few people were talking, the army of black iron beasts chased after them. Haha, prepare to die, Human Torch. The Human Torch drew his weapon. After I stop, you run away first. Who needs you to cut off the queen? Li Yan directly ordered the three gods, Boros, and Apocalypse to take action and beat the dozens of black iron beasts that were chasing them into half-crimps. In Human Torch's surprised eyes, Boros shot an energy beam from his palm, piercing the body of a black iron beast with one blow. In order to vent their anger, Ability God and Apocalypse directly went into battle to fight. In front of the black iron beast 7 or 8 meters tall, a few people were slightly insignificant, but the Ability God directly tore off the arm of a black iron beast, and demolished the black iron beast to pieces in a few strokes, which almost shocked the Thunderbolt's jaw. Soon all 30 or so black iron beasts fell to the ground, sparks crackling on their bodies, and painful groans emanating from their mouths. Human Torch, you go deal with them. Human Torch was a little hesitant. Although he was a little moved, this could be regarded as stealing the fruits of other people's battles. Thunderbolt shook his head and said, King of Machine War, I'm afraid this is not good. How can I have the nerve to keep the results of the three brothers' battles to myself? Haha, it doesn't matter. They are not motorcycles and cannot absorb this fighting energy. Then the Human Torch nodded and killed these black iron beasts one by one. After absorbing their energy, the Human Torch was directly upgraded from the initial 2nd level to the 5th level. From the original 5 scum of war, he became a powerful one. Nice little shrimp. Thunderbolt knelt on his knees facing Li Yan and begged, King of Machine War, please come back to the City of Time with me. The motorcycle race now needs your leadership. Li Yan's goal here while waiting for the Thunderbolt to arrive is to go to the City of Time. Without the leadership of the Thunderbolt, he might not gain the trust of the motorcycle people even if he talks a lot. Okay, no problem, the motorcycle race will become stronger and stronger under my leadership. Sitting in the driver's cab of Thunderbolt, Li Yan felt the convenience of driverless driving. He leaned on the chair and inquired about the current situation of the City of Time while feeling the ultimate push-back feeling brought by the supercar. Although Li Yan also owns many cars in the United States, compared with the Thunderbolt, those cars are rubbish. The level of Thunderbolt was upgraded, and he was in good condition now. He galloped all the way, and soon led Li Yan and others to appear outside the gate of the City of Time. Looking at the tall city wall in front of me, it is really shocking. The city gate alone is nearly 400 meters high. Thunderbolt, who is 8 or 9 meters tall, looks a little small standing under the city gate. The city wall is at least meters long. It is as high as a mountain, blocking the front of the city of time. The city wall is tall and thick, and a large number of city guard turrets are placed on it. The city wall is filled with dense motorcycle soldiers. They stick to it regardless of spring, summer, autumn and winter, day or night. Post, guarding the safety of the city of time. The entire city seems to be made of unknown blue ore. Not only is it very safe and solid, but it also looks very beautiful. From a distance, the entire city glows with a sapphire blue light. The guards at the city gate saw the Human Torch returning and quickly lowered the drawbridge to allow the Human Torch to enter the city. After entering the city gate, many biker soldiers were patrolling and standing guard on the wide streets. This is already a military fortress. At this time, a motorcycle came from the city, and Li Yan knew it was the funny Hot Wheels without looking at him. Thunderbolt, what about that? Are there many black iron beasts outside? Hot Wheels asked eagerly. The Human Torch nodded. There's an army of dark iron beasts everywhere outside. I almost died. Hot Wheels drooped his head, obviously very worried about the current situation. Hey, who are they? Did you bring the Human Torch back? Let's go see the city lord first. I have something important to report. The King of Machine War invites you to come with me. Li Yan followed slowly. Hot Wheels next to him was shocked. The King of Machine War. Following the Human Torch, Li Yan and the four of them came to the main hall. The city lord of the City of Time was a white motorcycle man. He did not survive 2 episodes in the animation, so he was a bit player without even a name in the animation. Thunderbolt. City Lord, I'm back. The Black Iron Beast army is pressing outside the city. Our City of Time is in danger, but I brought back the Machine War King this time. Before Human Torch finished speaking, everyone present was shocked. The Lord of the City of Time asked in surprise, "What did you say? You brought the King of Machine War back?" Cough cough. Li Yan rose into the air and floated to the height of Human Torch's shoulders. Yes, I am your Machine War King. Lord of the City of Time, how should we trust you? Li Yan, you don't have to believe me. If I stay, the City of Time will survive the current crisis. If I leave here, I will be trampled to the ground by the army of black iron beasts. I'm not forcing you to believe me, but you have to take the initiative to believe it. Hey, are you the king of motorcycles of our motorcycle clan? Hot Wheels said. Li Yan smiled slightly. Of course, I'm here to save you, but if you don't cooperate, what can I do? You know that even the King of Hell can't save the ghost. The Lord of the City of Time hesitated for a moment and then agreed. He handed over the position of Lord of the City of Time to Li Yan. Now all biker warriors and biker civilians in the City of Time must obey Li Yan's orders. In this way, Li Yan, the king of pseudo-machine warfare, successfully became a full-time official, and even tasks 1 and 2 have been completed. As long as he makes some achievements, no one here will doubt his authenticity. The City of Time is not small in size, with a total population of more than 50, but there are only motorcycle warriors among them, and most of them are old, weak, sick and disabled, and are not strong. Without the help of Luoluo in the original work, the City of Time will definitely be destroyed. Was crushed by an army of black iron beasts. But now the army of black iron beasts is no different to Li Yan than ants. However, in order to unify the plane, he cannot be too harsh and cannot intensify the hatred between the motorcycle tribe and the beast tribe. Li Yan pinched his chin and had an idea in his mind. It seemed that he had to subdue these black iron beasts first and let the wild orangutans come to him on their own initiative. Human Torch. City Lord, what should we do now? Wait for the army of black iron beasts to arrive at the city. No way. The opponent of the King of Robots has an army. How can we defend the City of Time? Hot Wheels said. Li Yan, we definitely can't defend, we must take the initiative. But we are no match at all. Pillahuo was also slightly surprised. Li Yan rolled his eyes at him. Thank you for your self-awareness. Don't worry. Li Yan pointed at the 3 ability god Boros and Apocalypse and said, have you seen the strength of the 3 of them? The Human Torch finally felt confident, as long as he didn't let the biker warriors in the city go out and die in vain. Outside the city, the general of the Black Iron Beast, Jin Ironman, looked at the remains of the Black Iron Beast soldiers on the ground, and was puzzled. According to the information he had, there were no masters in the entire city of Time. Judging from the wreckage, these 30 black iron beasts were easily killed, and they didn't even have the chance to send out a distress signal. General, this shouldn't be done by people from the city of Time, right? The green iron beast said from the side. The golden iron beast shook his head. He didn't know who did this, but no matter what, he had to win the city of Time. Human Torch and other bikers stood on the city wall, looking at the dark army of black iron beasts below, and the pressure in their hearts doubled. The golden iron beast is the commander-in-chief of this attack. He is the #1 general under the wild orang, the king of the beast tribe. He is a man of both wisdom and courage, as well as loyalty and courage. The wild orang has the power of the golden iron beast. The subordinates only conquered half of the country. In the original work, the Tiger King also wanted to win over him and make him his general, but the golden iron beast was unmoved. His character not only gained the trust of the wild ape, but was even affirmed by the Human Torch and others. Although the golden iron beast finally detonated the reserve hidden energy and died with the enemy in order to protect the wild orangutan and cover the Thunderbolt's retreat, his image was deeply imprinted in Li Yan's mind. Li Yan saw that the black iron beast army was approaching the city, and he directly ordered Ability God, Boros, and Apocalypse to go down and fight. He used a mental message to instruct, "You three, remember, just defeat the enemy and don't cause large-scale casualties. This army will soon be ours." "Yes, Holy Master." "No," Hot Wheels said in surprise. "Do you have any grudge against them? There is an army of black iron beasts down there, so you just send 3 of them to die." Human Torch quickly stopped him. "Hot Fire Wheels, don't interrupt, I have seen the strength of the 3 of them." "Yes, but there are 100,000 black iron beasts down there. There is also their general, the golden iron beast, who is the #1 general under the wild orangutan." Li Yan smiled and waved his hand. It was normal for Hot Wheels not to believe in the strength of Ability God and others. In this world, even the 3 war kings of the Beast Clan could not defeat the army of black iron beasts in front of them. The ceiling of combat power that Hot Wheels and others can understand is that there is no other than the 3 war kings of the Beast Clan, so they believe that it is impossible for the 3 ability gods to win. "Everyone, please be patient. We will know whether we can win or not," Li Yan said confidently. The golden iron beast looked at the 3 people who jumped off the city wall with a puzzled look on its face. "Could it be that they are here to negotiate with me? Who are you? If you know your identity, leave as soon as possible, otherwise we will destroy the city of Time and you will die without a burial place." "Haha, your tone is quite loud," Tianqi mocked. Ability God sneered. "Trash, you are not afraid of flashing your tongue." Boros, "To be honest, I don't have any enthusiasm for fighting against you trash." The ridicule of several people made Golden Iron Beast very angry, but as a calm general of Black Iron Beast, he would not lose his mind because of the enemy's few words. He sent out a group of soldiers, intending to test a few of them to see if they were bluffing or if they were really capable. "Blue Iron Beast, you led a group of people and show the 3 of them a little color." "Yes, General. The Green Iron Beast is a subordinate of the Golden Iron Beast. He is very powerful. Before the Thunderbolt met Li Yan, he was definitely not his opponent. But now, the Thunderbolt has lasted more than Black Iron Beast soldiers and absorbed many soldiers. With less fighting energy, the level has been improved, but Li Yan is estimated to be at least equal to the Green Iron Beast. It will take some distance to defeat the Golden Iron Beast single-handedly." Ability God and others are interested. They used to be the overlords of one party, and naturally they all have some ability to recognize people. Ability God can tell at a glance that Jinti Beast is a very difficult general to get. The army he leads has a neat lineup and good morale. Hi. Judging from the military appearance alone, the old, weak, sick and disabled in the City of Time have lost a lot. The Green Iron Beast brought out a group of soldiers, and following his order, they rushed directly towards the 3 ability gods. "Kill." Tianqi took a step forward and said, "Leave it to me." He stretched his hands forward and spread his fingers. The sand on the ground began to squirm, forming a vortex of sand on the ground. He rushed towards the Black Iron Beast and fell into it in an instant, covered in blood. Only the heads are exposed above and below, and everyone is tightly trapped. The golden iron beast shrank its eyes, obviously surprised by Apocalypse's ability. They were all mechanical beings and had never seen other forms of superpowers. For a while, the golden iron beast didn't know what to do. The eyes of Human Torch and others on the wall were also wide open, obviously they were shocked again. Hot Wheels, master of the city of Mecha King, how did he do it? I just saw him stretch out his hands, and these black iron beasts fell into the ground and were trapped. It's nothing to scare little kid, this is just a superpower possessed by flesh and blood life. Li Yan explained. Boros mobilized all the energy in his body, and the blue arc of light began to flash on the surface of his body. He had not fought for a long time, and he was very angry inside. Today he would kill every one of his opponents without leaving any trace behind. Just as he was about to rush forward, Ability God grabbed his wrist. He warned, "Take it easy, the Holy Lord will be unhappy if too many people die." Boros shook off the skinny palm of the God of Ability. "I have it in my mind." A flash of blue light flashed, and the neat military formation beside the golden iron beast was washed away, and the few soldiers at the front were directly knocked to pieces. The golden iron beast reacted and roared, "Line up and prepare to fight." The black iron beast hurriedly formed a six-pointed star array to enter a defensive state. The 6 black iron beasts rotated in a circle to form a six-pointed star array. The six-pointed star array can spread attacks outwards and concentrate defense inside. It can also be split into a triangle pattern, inside and outside. Combined with both offense and defense, ordinary speed robots like Black Panther were unable to deal an effective blow to the hexagram array, but the opponent they encountered was not the Tiger King's Black Panther, but Boros. Boros passed through the army of black iron beasts and smashed countless black iron beasts into pieces. To Boros, this army of black iron beasts was just a bunch of broken machines. As long as he moved his fingers, he could make them fly. The other party was reduced to ashes. Li Yanjun said on the city wall, "Ability God, go and catch the golden iron beast for me, remember that I want to live." The golden iron beast was very angry when he heard it. After all, he is also the #1 general under the Wild Orang, and his strength is many times stronger than the current Thunderbolt. "Do you think I don't want to lose face? Follow your will." The ability God flashed and appeared in front of the golden iron beast, but due to the size difference, he could only look up in front of the 8 or 9 meter tall golden iron beast. The power God appeared next to him in an instant. He was unaware of it and could not see the opponent's movement trajectory clearly. However, the golden iron beast was also experienced in many battles. He quickly raised his right foot and stepped towards the power God. Boom! He stepped on nothing, and the supernatural God activated his ability to create countless energy ropes, tightly trapping the legs of the golden iron beast. With a hard pull, the golden iron beast lost its balance and fell to the ground. "General, we are here to help you." The surrounding black iron beast saw that the golden iron beast was suffering and hurried forward to support. Ability God quickly tied up the golden iron beast and appeared in front of Li Yan with the golden iron beast in a flash. Jin Tizong looked confused. Was he kidnapped so easily? The golden iron beast looked at Thunderbolt and the others in front of him, showing no intention of surrendering and begging for mercy. Although he was a prisoner now, a man's integrity could never be lost. He said sonorously and forcefully, "You can kill or chop you as you please. I, the golden iron beast, will not surrender. My brothers will avenge me. Sooner or later, the city of Time will be flattened by the black iron beast army." Although he was his enemy, Human Torch couldn't help but secretly admire him when he saw how backbone he was. People have always been like this, they only respect strong people with backbone. Li Yan chuckled, "You've been captured, and you still expect others to avenge you. I guess the 100,000 troops below can't withstand a few collisions from my men." The golden iron beast snorted coldly. "HMPH, so what, isn't it normal for us as soldiers to die on the battlefield? This guy is loyal and courageous." In the original book, in order to save the wild orangutan, he did not hesitate to fight against the Black Panther army, the Green Panther beast and the Tiger King alone. He knew that he was losing but still fought to the death. He would rather die than defect to the Tiger King. Want him to surrender, Li Yan thinks he should save some money. But if you catch the golden iron beast, the wild orangutan will definitely come to the rescue. Once you catch the wild orangutan, you can conquer the wild orangutan. You three ability gods, go and release the blue iron beasts and let them find the wild orangutans. Yes, Holy Master. When Thunderbolt and others heard this, they didn't know what Li Yan was going to do. Thunderbolt. Lord Mecha King, the wild ape is so powerful that our city of time cannot withstand his attack. Should we think carefully about it? Yes. The king of machine war, the wild orang is the war king of the beast clan, and his strength is unfathomable. If he comes, our city of time may not be able to resist it. After you two have experienced what happened today, you should stop looking at problems from the same old perspective. Ability God said from the side. I tell you, even the three war kings of the beast clan plus hundreds of thousands of troops are no match for any of the three of us. What? Hot Wheels, Human Torch and others were really shocked when they heard this. Although the Golden Iron Beast was also shocked, but unlike Human Torch and the others, the Golden Iron Beast followed the wild ape. He knew the strength of the wild ape and wanted to be like Boros and cut through an army of black iron beasts. It is impossible, even an army of black iron beasts can kill the wild orangutan. The combined strength of the three war kings is already the limit for dealing with an army to black iron beasts. The Golden Iron Beast thought about it carefully, and he felt that the ability god was not lying. But this was undoubtedly a bolt from the blue for him, because he had put the wild orangutan into such a dangerous situation. He prayed silently in his heart, praying that the wild orangutan would not come to rescue him. Ability God, Boros, and Tianchi followed Li Yan's instructions and drove away the Black Iron Beast army, giving them a chance to ask for help from the wild orangutan. In the dungeon of the City of Time, in addition to blaming himself, the Golden Iron Beast was also thinking about countermeasures. The opponent had such strength, but he did not kill himself, nor did he massacre the Black Iron Beast army on a large scale. He even made a plan to attract wild orangutans. The Golden Iron Beast was lost in thought. He had never seen the move the other party used. He looked like he was neither a motorcycle nor a beast. He thought hard and couldn't figure out the reason. Wild City, the home of wild orangutans. Although the wild orangutan has no strategy to strategize and win over thousands of miles away, and has an arrogant personality, he values love and justice, acts above board, repays kindness, and is a tough man who keeps his word. What? When the wild orangutan heard that his general had been captured by the people from the City of Time, it was not a big deal. He smashed the table in front of him with his fist and roared. Not only was his general captured, but also it's about your own dignity. Green Iron Beast. Marshal, the three opponents are so powerful that even our army of people cannot defeat them. Wild Orang. How many people did we hurt? Green Iron Beast. Reporting to the Marshal, there are less than 1,000 people. Boom. The wild gorilla punched the Blue Iron Beast in the chest, knocking him away. The wild orangutan laughed angrily. Haha, 3 people will beat the shit out of you and make you a bunch of trash. Blue Iron Beast, you are such a coward. You actually dare to leave the Golden Iron Beast and run away without a fight. I will punish you with military law today. Blue Iron Beast and Purple Iron Beast quickly stepped forward to dissuade them. Marshal, every word of the Blue Iron Beast is true. We really didn't run away from the battle. The wild orangutan calmed down a little, but he still didn't believe that the 3 people on the other side could easily defeat his army of people. Forget it, I'll keep you alive for now, and I'll deal with you after the Golden Iron Beast is rescued. The mighty army of Black Iron Beasts gathered again. This time he only left 15 Black Iron Beasts to guard the wild city, while he led an army of Black Iron Beasts to conquer the City of Time. The Silver Iron Beast stood on the city wall, looking at the retreating figures of the 15-strong army with a cunning smile. Silver Iron Beast is Wild Orang's second general, but he is cunning and ambitious. Because the Wild Orang reused the Golden Iron Beast, the Silver Iron Beast was resentful and was bribed by the Tiger King as an undercover agent in an attempt to take charge of the Wild City after the Tiger King destroyed the Wild Orang. Now he felt like his chance had come. In the City of Time, Li Yan is looking at the map of the King of Machine War world. He is about to start formulating his next action plan, and his goal is the City of Energy. Energy City can be said to be the most luxurious and richest city among all the cities of the motorcycle race. Just looking at the design and structure of its appearance is complex enough, and the whole city is shining in the afterglow, very beautiful. This city also has a very powerful defense system and should be one of the most difficult cities in the world to break. The most important thing is that there are a large number of energy amethysts buried under it. This is the city that Li Yan must capture to complete his mission. The Tiger King laughed happily after receiving the news from the silver iron beast. Wild Orang, you are so stupid. Ha ha ha, since you don't want Wild City, then I, the Tiger King, will reluctantly accept it. The green leopard beast said to the Tiger King, Marshal, I have a plan that may be able to completely eradicate the wild orangutans. Oh, the Tiger King became interested. Tell me and listen. Marshal, we can lead a large force and secretly ambush in the wild city. When the wild apes return, it will be a battle with the City of Time, and the wild apes will have a high probability of taking over the City of Time. Then the army of black iron beasts following the wild apes back to the wild city should be around. It goes without saying what the green leopard beast said next. The Tiger King was ruthless and cunning, and he could directly guess the green leopard beast's plan. The wild orangutan who captured the City of Time will definitely leave a large force to garrison there, and he will return to the wild city with an army of 40 to 50,000 black iron beasts. When the time comes, he can just lay a good ambush and kill the wild orangutan. It is not difficult to annex the power of the wild gorilla, then the world of the Machine War King will be his world of the Tiger King. The wild orang is rushing to the City of Time as fast as he can, unaware that there is a big traitor in his lair. All the motorcycle riders in the City of Time are on standby, because they are about to face the world's most powerful land-based motorcycle king, the wild orangutan. Wild Orang is a powerful war king, with the strongest strength, defense, and attack power in the world of robot beasts. The defense is so strong that it can easily withstand the storm nebula, the ice-piercing slash and the lightning whirlwind, and can barely withstand an attack from a polar sandstorm. 80% of its health is lost. But the shortcomings are also very obvious. The movement speed and attack speed are too slow. It is so slow that it cannot even hit individual Black Panthers, and it is difficult to hit the Tiger King. Although he had the upper hand in the 2 battles with the Tiger King, he did not pose a fatal threat to the Tiger King. Wild Orang can also easily defeat Supersonic and Tornado, the strongest of the 6 motorcycle generals, by himself. The overall strength is above the Tiger King and only below the Tyrannosaurus God. Human Torch and Hot Wheels stood on the city wall with thoughts abounding, no longer as happy as when they had just caught the Golden Iron Beast. Hot Wheels asked Human Torch in a low voice, "Do you think the one you brought back is the King of War?" Human Torch is not sure whether Li Yan is the King of Machine War. He is completely unconcerned with common sense and can do whatever he wants. However, Li Yan is very powerful and having him as his guardian will do no harm to the City of Time. Seeing the wolf smoke and flying dust in the distance, Thunderbolt's face was solemn, and he knew that the wild gorilla was coming. Hot Wheels was so frightened that his face turned pale and his legs were shaking. Although the Black Iron Beast army had been damaged before, it regained its morale under the leadership of the wild gorilla, and this time it made a comeback and vowed to conquer the City of Time. Roar, people from the City of Time, listen, release the Golden Iron Beast to me quickly. If you dare to lay a finger on him, I will smash the City of Time into ruins. The wild orangutan was angry. Li Yan, who was resting in the city, heard the roar of the wild orangutan and knew that the fish had taken the bait. Ability God, Boros, Apocalypse, you 3 go and beat the gorilla outside to me, and then bring it to me. Yes, Holy Master. The 3 ability gods got up and came to the wall of the City of Time. They looked at the roaring gorilla below and frowned. There was only one with decent strength. How were the 3 of them divided? Ability God, there are 3 beast war kings here. This guy belongs to me, and you can divide the other 2. The 2 of them had no objection. After all, the alien god was the strongest among the 3 of them. The power god flashed directly and appeared in front of the wild gorilla. Hey, stupid mechanical gorilla, what I hate most are broken machines like you. The wild orangutan stared at the city wall and didn't even notice the alien god at his feet. Who's talking? Ability God's face suddenly turned as black as carbon, and he was actually ignored. In fact, it's really not the fault of the wild gorilla. He is nearly 10 meters tall, and he is still looking up at the city wall. The alien god is about 2 meters tall, and he is still standing in the blind spot of his vision. The ability god waved his hand and fired an energy attack, hitting the wild orangutan on the chin. The wild orangutan screamed, instantly threw his head back, and fell heavily to the ground. He got up angrily, looked at the tiny power god in front of him, roared angrily, and suddenly attacked with a fist that was several times larger than the body of the power god. The fist brought with it the roaring wind and was unstoppable. The alien god looked calm and stretched out his palm to directly block the fist of the wild gorilla. Boom, the sand and dust flew up. The wild gorilla's angry blow was actually received so lightly. The black iron beasts behind were all very angry. Shock. The wild gorilla narrowed his eyes, obviously surprised by this situation, but he immediately stopped and used his ultimate move, Crazy Thunder King Kong Fist. The huge fist was swung towards the ability god, as if it had the power to break mountains. The ability god sneered. This kind of power was like floating and shaking a tree in front of him. He hadn't fought against such a rubbish robot in many years. He clenched his fists and waved them gently, as if doing Tai Chi, slowly and melodiously. When their fists collided violently, the wild gorilla felt as if he had hit a huge mountain, stronger than steel, hard. The huge force of the shock pushed the wild orangutan hundreds of meters away. On the other hand, the alien god did not retreat at all except for his clothes being blown by the shock wave. The ability god once again appeared in front of the wild orangutan, grabbed his arm and threw him into the sky. The ability god jumped up and kicked the wild orangutan in the abdomen. The huge force almost killed the wild orangutan. The value returned to 0. Under the influence of this force, the wild orangutan flew tens of thousands of meters in the air at extremely fast speeds. The strong air pressure around him made it impossible to move, and he was unable to adjust his body shape. Tianchi looked at the sky and said, "If the wild orangutan falls from this height, it will probably fall into pieces." Poros laughed. The thunderbolts and others were frightened when they saw it. The powerful wild orangutan had no power to resist in the hands of the ability god. This was not a crushing at all, but a wanton toy. As long as the power god is willing, killing a wild orangutan is as easy as crushing an ant. Misfortunes never come singly. The wild orangutans were tortured here, and the wild city was also besieged by the Tiger King. With the Silver Iron Beast as an internal agent, the Tiger King led an army of Black Panther beasts, intending to storm the wild city, end the battle and prepare an ambush before the wild ape came back. Silver Iron Beast led an army of Black Iron Beasts and pretended to resist on the city wall. In fact, he had already prepared a secret passage for the tiger to send a small force to sneak in secretly. The wild gorilla was facing his most dangerous moment. He fell from an altitude of meters. Without the ability to fly, he would be shattered into pieces once he hit the ground. At this moment, he regretted that he had been careless and underestimated the enemy, and did not believe in the Green Iron Beast. Discourage from others. When the army of Black Iron Beasts below saw this, all the black body beasts gathered together. They were densely arranged together to form a square array, and then they were arranged layer by layer, 10 layers in total, each layer about 10 meters. This 100-meter buffer is the wild orangutan's last chance to survive. These Black Iron Beasts plan to use their steel bodies to build a buffer platform for the wild orangutan. Although the chance of success is very small, although there will be countless casualties, but for their marshal, it was all worth it. The wild orangutan looked at the army of Black Iron Beasts below, his eyes were red, and he roared at them to get away. He didn't want his soldiers to die because of his incompetence. The army of Black Iron Beasts remained motionless, no one obeyed his orders, so all the Black Iron Beasts were willing to sacrifice their lives for him. At the moment when he was about to collide with the Black Iron Beast army, his figure suddenly stopped in midair. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.